out there beyond the stars. Oh, and I travel the world for you to find out where you
Hello.
Hello.
No one's talking, but hi everybody, we're back for a second episode. Yes?
Second episode? Yeah, no. Technically, it's the 11th episode, but the second episode is season 1 and it's season 2. We really got to work out a better way of doing numbering.
Second episode of Master Nyarlathotep. The prelude was separate, those same characters. We have grown. We've gotten more sane, less sane.
Less sane.
Less sane.
Well, I got more.
No, to say Jack got more sane. Jack was smart, which is a line that I never thought I would say. But Jack was smart and just went, "I'm gonna go live a normal life."
Jack was smart enough to piss off everybody around them, to not be like, "Hey, can you have a look at this for me to see if this makes you do strange things with your brain as well?" That was the smart part from that. But we are back. We are live. Awesome. Couple of bookkeeping stuff. CestCaitlin's not here today, but we do have Molly back. Molgars, welcome.
Yay.
Hello. Long time no see.
And just a little bit. Few episodes in the prelude, but it's great to have you back. So we'll have a whole new introduction of like what you've been doing as well in the time period. We have Syrinscape that's going to be in the background, both sci-fi and fantasy. Syrinscape have the entire Master Nyarlathotep booked out for us with sounds and audio, so there's lots of great fun in that. And you can donate to the channel to help out our players. So just a refresher, a donation of $1 per 100 bits gives the nominated player 1d6 luck. If you use the subscription, everybody gets a choice between the D6 luck or D6 sanity. If there's a gift subscription, it's D6 luck, D6 sanity, or the tick box. So it's one of those three. Tick box is for experience, which is hard to come by for some of those really hard, like really difficult skills. I think that's about everything with the bookkeeping. Oh wait, I always forget. LoveMaps, Cthulhu, LoveMaps RPG. They provided the maps for us for free. Thank you so much. LoveMaps essentially have taken the Master Nyarlathotep Cthulhu maps and reformatted them and essentially redone them for a VTT, for a virtual tabletop. We use Roll20 and very proud of it being a member of their Spotlight team. And we also have trying to think. Lorian Ross did the intro music for the show, as well as the second intro music we have for the second part of the show. Is that about everything, MLP?
We run player safety of X card system, and all characters have had consent forms. You always tend to forget that one.
It's the one I always forget. Yeah. Yep. And then we can do introductions then.
All right. So, well, Eguy, you're up next.
All right, I'm Eguy. I'm playing Emmett Barnes, our friendly neighborhood dilettante, and he is very ready to, soon to witness the body of his near and dear friend Jackson Elias. He has joined Jackson's fellow friends upstairs in his room.
God, that scares me. The one
Morning.
and only Magic Man.
Ah, Magic.
Hi,
Thank
Magic
you.
Man. Welcome in. It's been a while. Thank you for the subscription. Okay, I guess while we do our introductions, you can get to choose which dice you're rolling and roll that for with your introduction. So,
Yeah.
Eve, which one are you going for? Luck or sanity?
Ooh, let's go with luck.
Okay.
1d6. Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Very nice.
I will take that indeed.
Just a heads up, can you enable 3D dice and automatically roll 3D dice because it didn't come through. Molgars.
All right. Hi, I'm Molly, or Molgars. I am playing Tatiana Petrovna, a ballerina with a bit of a checkered past who has been away for a while doing God knows what at this point.
We will find out.
We will find out very shortly. Maybe. And are we all rolling luck or sanity?
Yeah.
You can roll whatever you decide to.
Mm.
All
It's
right,
luck
I'm gonna
or
get-
sanity.
I'm getting luck.
All right. Oh,
A little bit.
still.
I'll take the 2. 2 is better than I was at the start. So
Oh yeah.
Little bit.
Hi, my name is Karsh Goblin. And I'm playing Jack Hunt, Sergeant Jack Hunt, of course. Who is he's a war veteran, and he's been drawn back into the fray with some old friends and some old acquaintances, some less friendly than whatnot. But hey, why not? And I'm going to be rolling luck because my sanity is way too high. Although saying that is really stupid in front of the keeper.
Yes.
So, and 2, yay. Wait, no, 1. Even worse.
Oh, even worse.
Oh boy. Aeon.
Hi, I'm Eon, and I've been playing Sidney Tyson, item acquirer turned mob boss? Life's been strange the last 5 years. she went from a
Archaeologist?
archaeologist to a mob
Legitimate
boss.
businesswoman.
In all
Who knew
fairness,
how to hide
beforehand
the dead
she
body.
was legitimate. She just
Item
didn't always wait for people to
collector.
die to take the items.
they just hate to see a girl boss winning.
I think for Jack it was the knowing how to hide the bodies. Was
In
the
all fairness, I do understand that creeping Jack out. I do go that, honestly, Sydney is not meant for the 1920s.
yeah.
So, I know I only have 7 luck, but I might as well get sanity, because I figure I'm going to be using that more, so... wouldn't really mattered anyway.
That would have been a 30% increase of your luck. though.
Yeah.
Yes, it would
I
have
know,
been.
but it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Phoenix.
I am Phoenix. I am playing Alejandro Garcia, our Peruvian guide / shipping magnate that no one really knew in the prologue. So he's here trying to screw with Carlisle's more than anything else, and wondering why he answered the telegram after seeing the crew that has reassembled. So I will be rolling for luck.
Oh, very nice.
I'll live with that.
Or you'll die with it, but you'll take it either way. And yep.
Go ahead.
MLP. It's all
All right,
yours.
I'm MrLiveProducer. I will be your keeper for this evening. And I think if everyone else is ready, I think we shall begin.
You don't get to roll luck.
No.
He does have characters to put luck into.
No.
Of course. Of course the keeper rolls a 6.
It's rigged. It's all rigged.
It's roll 20. It's not rigged.
I know.
Are you sure?
If I roll another 6, it's then rigged.
Random. No.
It's
just
if it's another
random.
6, it'll be rigged.
It's a 1 in 6 chance of rolling another
See?
6. It's just.
It's not rigged.
statistics.
Yeah. Anyway, without any more further ado, we shall begin. The date, January 15th, 1925. It is a day that are remembered in the memories of all the investigators present as the day that they lost their good and dear friend Jackson Elias. Having been informed of the Carl expedition during his trip through and the encounter with the Cardassieti, Jackson Elias has been sent a telegram to his trusted friends, some of which from the expedition and one he has made recently to meet on the 15th of January. Some plans were made, but alas, they were not enough to prevent the untimely murder from an unknown group of cultists, which wore a red strip of cloth around their forehead with what looked like, to the creative mind, to be a tongue. We enter into this scene in room 410 as two of the cultists are captured and the dead body of Jackson Elias looks up with cold, undead eyes into what we may never know. But we wind the clock back a few weeks to a nondescript room where a telegram has been delivered.
All right. So I think Tatiana has gotten up this morning the way she gets up most mornings. She bends down, she kisses Renee, now Isabella, on the cheek, who tends to sleep in. She pulls socks onto her feet and she pads around their drafty New York City apartment. It's not a nice apartment. It's basically a bed frame or a box spring on the ground and a tiny little bathroom and a kitchenette, and that's about all they can ask for on the salary that two artists living in New York can pull in. But she's making her tea in the morning and she's sipping it when the telegram arrives, and as she reads it, I think just ice shoots through her veins. Bleed. How did you find me? How could anyone? We were so careful. And she does something that she hasn't done in a really long time. And she finishes the rest of her tea, and she looks at the tea leaves on the bottom of her glass, or of her teacup, and she casts augury.
Mm-hmm. Get you to roll that in chat, please.
Alrighty, so that's a power roll. To see, should I read the description of the spell for the folks back home?
Yeah.
All right, so it costs 4 magic points and 1d2 sanity to cast. And it grants portents of the future. It requires a scrying tool such as tea leaves or a mirror or tarot cards. Timing can vary due to the tools and nature of scrying, and a successful power roll is required to understand the augury. So I will get a vision either way, but whether or not I can interpret it is up to this roll. Alrighty.
If I set it up correctly, you should just have to click on it and it should roll automatically for you.
Yes, I was just getting back to my character sheet.
Can I just say it now? Power.
Wow.
Ow!
I would like to spend those 2 luck I was just gifted.
Thank you, Magic Man.
Thank you, Magic Man.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Spell's going bad. I'm probably going to be really bad.
I was not expecting that. All right.
I didn't think you would be. And
Thank you. Thank you for a heads up. All right.
I figured it was more fun if you weren't.
Okay, so. Okay. In the bottom of the tea leaves, you see the tea leaves themselves have meshed into a. Not really a shape, but like they've fallen around. Where is it? There is something very, very important about this, which I'm just trying to find. Okay, so while I'm doing this, so it looks like what would happen if you have a. These are all cups. You would assume. And around the circle of them, there's like, they've been used a lot. So there's like a drunken brown mark around it. But the tea leaves, come to this shape. I'll show us the players. And that's what you see in the bottom of the teacup.
What? Do I recognize that? Or can I make a roll to recognize that?
I'm just trying to think, does that power check mean you understand the meaning behind this? With augury?
It means that I to understand it.
Okay. It's a symbol. Best way to describe it is the symbol of an adversary.
Do I get from this cup any sort of sense of like menace or like you mentioned like an adversary? Does it feel like a threat to me, like to where I am now? Is that something I can tell?
As you look into the teacup, the tea leaves, it starts. All the time you've ever used this power, this augury power, the tea leaves has never moved once you've looked at it. These leaves, through some power of their own, become a representation of the symbol you saw on Larkin on his chest. It was like a stylized spiral. Now, in character, I'm sorry. Did you ever see what was on Larkin's chest? Because I know you were away for a little bit.
I think so.
Okay. Well, I will just quickly bring up the extra handout for that. Okay. You can see it sort of there, but on the chest there's it's like a spiral and something like a man shape above it. And I would also get you to roll me a sanity check, please.
Yeah.
Because this has never happened before.
For sure. The one downside to using a spell is I have to scroll all the way back.
Now you're feeling very cheaper, aren't you?
Love passing a sanity roll.
Okay, so you still lose 1d3, so I'm just going to roll d6.
I also lose a d2 for casting the spell, just to tell on myself.
So you lose 3.
Alrighty.
Do we have an insanity before you even get into the game?
No, because it wasn't in the same roll. Okay, how many sanity point loss was it again for augury?
A 1d2, but I don't know how to roll that. I guess a d4.
Yeah, roll d4 and half it.
All right.
So that would be 1.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, no, it's over 3. Yeah, sorry, so it's 2. Okay.
All right, losing sanity real quick. Tatiana, I think she drops the teacup on the floor of her tiny shitty apartment where it shatters. She pulls a coat over her dressing gown, pulls shoes on, and she starts scouring the city for where to meet with Jackson. And I think that's how she spends the couple of weeks. Like she's just looking for places to find, like looking for where he is up until she's able to find him.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll give you a hint. Don't call up all the hotels. They don't like it.
Okay, so we cut now to unless there's anything else you want to do during the downtime.
Nope.
So we cut to January 15th. It's a cold, wet. If you had to chase somebody, you would pretty much be doing massive damage. It'd be very hard to catch somebody in this weather. So
Good thing.
Yes.
Good thing we
It's a
caught everyone before they started running away.
very, very good thing. You see like trucks drive by. Because it's so cold, there is pools of black oil on the street. Roll me a dex check.
Alrighty.
You almost slip over on a. Can we get that Syrinscape turned down, please? That's way too loud. You almost slip on a pool of black ice, and you end it turn up into pirouettes, and people watch, do a bit of a clap, and as you slowly make your way to the Hotel Chelsea, you get downstairs and you just hear one gunshot as you
I
hear
break out
as
into
you
a
get to
sprint.
down. People look around and they just shrug it off. It's New York City. If it's not happening to you, it's not your problem.
Tatiana's counting on that. She's like bodying her way past, or not bodying her way past, but like sliding her way through the bodies that she can see.
You enter into the lobby of the Hotel Chelsea. You don't see too much in the lobby, but you see the remains of a rather large meal and drinks and coffee and other stuff during one of the tables. And as you book up the stairs, you have this sense of foreboding.
Shit. She draws her
And-
weapon.
All right, then.
We
Okay,
probably
well-
we probably left a message downstairs at reception if we were expecting someone else.
You didn't know who was coming.
Yep.
Okay, so while this is happening, what is everyone else doing? So to put in perspective, Alejandro and Jack are near one of the cultist members, and Gino is near the other cultist member outside.
Sidney would have also just knocked this guy out.
Yeah.
That was what we had just ended with, was her smacking him on the back of the head with her gun, pistol whipping him because she wanted him alive.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I was a very lucky roll,
very lucky roll.
Mm-hmm. And
considering
then
Sidney is not a brawler.
we had just the one in between Alejandro and Jack had just surrendered because he had 3 guns on him, and that was where we ended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and the third guy had given up, and he was. Who are your other goons, Sidney?
So my 3 hirelings are Gino, Claude, and Buford. I'm pretty sure Claude is still in the car, though, considering...
Yeah, Claude is still in the car downstairs. Buford is up on the fire escape, and Gino is guarding the other cultists down at the near the door.
Yeah.
Home. Okay, and at this point, Tatiana, you get to floor 4, and I'm just about to get your the token, and hopefully got it there. And as you run around the corner, you run up the stairs, and in front of you, you see a cult. You don't know, but you see a not well-to-do white person with a very, very shabbily dressed suit and a red cloth wrapped around their head with it looks like a tongue, but it's just a piece of dyed cloth, and another person behind him just keeping an eye on him. Do you have your weapon drawn?
Ew.
Okay. All right. So Gino just looks up, doesn't say anything, just waits for you to make a move. And you see the person on the ground is Sidney. Do your flunkies tie up people when they can?
Yes.
Okay.
No. It was very much considering her original plan, which she's assuming is not viable with people that are not basically mafia members, would have involved leaving at least 3 of them, like 2 of the 3 alive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then you would Gino will have just finished doing the handcuff the tie in the background, so you would see them tied up.
Do they have
call the
weapons
police.
out?
You hear that? Emmett, you hear that scream.
Oh. Ooh, okay. Tatiana hears that and goes, well, alrighty then. And like turns on her heel to slide in, or tries to like slide into the oh, probably none of these doors are unlocked.
One door actually would probably be open because Sidney was renting the room for 408, I think it was, like where Gino came out of.
Oh.
Yeah, but isn't Buford in there with a gun?
No, he's currently like on the he's currently like on the fire escape over here. So
no, I thought he was on the fire escape in 508 and firing across.
Yeah, he was. But what I mean is that he's not in the apartment right now, and the door is probably open.
Okay, gotcha.
Do I see an open door?
It's probably ajar because Gino probably didn't really.
Yeah, that would make sense because Gino wouldn't have had time to pick up their keys. So give me a moment. Yeah, the door is open, so I just checked the dynamic lighting layer.
All right.
So
which one?
I'll move you.
The one at the other end of the hall.
Yeah, down here.
All right. She turns on her heel and slides back into the open door and like rushes for the phone. With like one arm like extended, gun pointed at the doorway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can run in and make a phone call. In the meantime, while you're doing the phone call, let's cut back to the actual scene. Aveline Baker is looking at the body of Mr. Elias and is going to roll a medicine check.
Mm-hmm.
Is he alive?
Well, now, dear, let's have a look. Holds up the arm, drops it. And I want to roll medicine because... There we go.
Holds up the head, drops it. Oh, he'll be fine.
Just goes down like, yes, I don't know why he's dead. It could be the cuts on his forehead, the multiple lacerations,
the amount of blood,
the bacon that he had for breakfast. I don't know what killed him. There's so many things that could have killed him. I don't know which one it is.
What are you talking about?
High calorie diet?
What are you talking about? Cuts? What are you talking about? Emmett bursts through, pushes Jack's side, sees Jackson's dead body, and that's
now
when he
roll
screams.
me a sanity check, please.
He's his dear departed friend. How much do I lose?
Now here's a question. It's a good dear friend of yours.
Who I've been ghostwriting for his projects. That's how I know him. He is my income as well.
You're just digging deeper and deeper, aren't you?
Yep, I'm just trying.
I'm looking at least a D6, probably more.
I was thinking maybe 2d6 to be honest, because it'll be 1d6 if you don't know him, but since he just described such a beautiful connection, 2d6.
2d6?
2d6.
Oh! Can I get the scream out? I could back away and say, "Call the police!" to make that connection before I fall.
Yep, and for that, okay.
If Emmett goes bonkers, I'll just try to clock him out.
Okay, well, let's go to the rollable table because I want to see what happens here. Bouts of Manos real time. You get Well, it makes sense. Your significant person is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no. Sorry. I had a brain fart for a second there. So while I'm working that out, does anyone else want to have a look around to do a spot hidden, please, in that room?
I was going to look for the phone. To call
Sydney
reception.
did want to drag the unconscious individual off of the precarious ledge since somebody's now calling the police. Because she figures that maybe that would be a good idea.
Just a touch.
Tranquilo. Everyone, quiet down. Sydney, you should take 2 of them away. We can deal with them later.
Which ones do you want to take?
Quick question. Which one of them is the disheveled, like, scrawny-looking white guy? Because there's...
The one outside. Column Doyle.
Okay.
What do they look like?
I have no art for them. Actually, no, I do have some art.
The specific question I want to give, and just for the horror, not trying to be too horrible, which one of the 3 looks the poorest?
Column, the one at the front is probably the best one to get for. The other 2 are of African American descent and look like their English is a little less.
Crud.
The one out the front is probably the more eloquent of the speakers, but also...
Like, the thing is because Sydney, by preference, would like to leave the white guy behind. But...
He might be the only one we can communicate with.
Yeah. So... She will move the unconscious person in because it's going to look a lot more suspicious carrying an unconscious body. She doesn't even have the excuse of he passed out drunk because that's not legal right now.
That didn't mean anything.
I more mean the police are more likely to stop her then. Or equally likely to stop her on both of those.
Take the 2 that can walk down the escape, get them to your people.
All right.
Jackson already called, or Emmett already yelled for Policia.
Because that's going to complicate things a titch, but...
Yep,
so no, Sydney will go back and say, Gino, get that one in here, we're getting them down the fire escape. And she'll... What's your name?
What's Emmett doing right now?
Emmett's on the ground. I would say with that role, probably fetal position. And I need to actually have a look at character sheet again. To have a look at what your significant person is.
My grandfather.
Yes. All right. The rest of the world around you, best to describe it is goes in black and white, and in pure, rich, vibrant color. Before I forget, is grandfather alive or dead?
Alive.
Okay. You don't know how, but you see your grandfather in front of you. And he isn't doing much, but in his hand he holds a white stone with a spiral on it.
We just dealt with this!
You dealt with this?
Where do I...
Sydney doesn't know anything that's happening here.
So as they're making their plans with the bodies, where do I see my grandfather? Because I would go towards my grandfather.
I would say that the grandfather will be in the back corner here near this case.
Okay.
He takes the white stone with the spiral around it, snaps the fingers, the stone floats, disappears, and he gestures to the case below him. And as you're about to open your mouth to ask a question, he vanishes.
And do I regain sanity?
No,
Okay.
you don't regain sanity, but you come back to your senses.
No, but that's what I meant. Do I
Yeah.
regain my senses? Yeah.
You regain your
Yeah.
senses.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get sanity points from your vision of insanity.
No.
Sorry. It can't hurt to ask.
Never hurts to ask. Your keeper might be a benevolent keeper. It doesn't work like that. If you look, I'll show this again. You just should be able to see the top bit, and that's the person. I would say the person on the fire escape in that one is the person who's at the front, and the other two are the ones that the one near the fire escape is the one you caught, knocked out, and the one over Jackson is the one that you've convinced to give up. Just to give you some reference.
Why don't we just give all of these men up?
I'm so. Have I found the phone in the apartment while this is going on?
It's on the floor. Jackson ripped it out of the wall.
Yeah, you try to pick up the phone, and the phone's been ripped out of the wall.
I found the phone, just dangling it. I don't think it's going to work today.
Probably not. No. All right. And actually, Sydney's going to stop there because I'm assuming Gino would bring the guy in the hall, like into where they're in, and Buford would probably be making his way over to the rest of us. Have the police been called?
At this
I
point,
hope so.
Buford. Sorry, I'm just. Okay. Sorry, running small business. Who does? At this point, Buford would actually be walking in to the room. I would see Tatiana on the phone.
Yes, hello. I heard the gunshots in the room and the sounds of a fight at the Chelsea Hotel. Or at this point it would be more like this.
Yeah.
You need to come quickly. There's something bad is happening. I don't know exactly what, but someone yelled for me to call the police. They need help.
You just hear on the edge of the voice. You would assume at this time it's very, very poor signal at this point. You got the operators trying to make the connections. Yes, we'll get a police officer there as soon as possible. Chelsea Hotel, was it?
Chelsea Hotel, yes.
Thank you. Should be about half an hour. Hopefully, maybe. It's New York City. What do you expect? And you see the clip.
Tatiana hangs up and then she goes back to try to enter the room.
At this point, Buford enters into the room. Goes, "Who are you?"
Natasha Smirnoff.
Well, Miss Smirnoff. Actually, at this point, would you be wearing? Is the ring on the correct finger? Yep.
Yes.
I can never remember. Is it Miss or Mrs. If you're married?
Mrs.
Mrs. Thank you. Well, Mrs. Romanoff. Mrs. Smirnoff. It would be prudent for you to leave this room. We've had an incident.
Yes. To do with the Carlisle expedition, no?
Would you have told your people about the Carlisles?
Yes.
Leon?
Oh no, like they are fully in the loop. She is not having she's not having misinformation mean that she gets one of them stabbing her in the back or something similar.
At the sound of Carlisle expedition, Buford just raises his eyebrow and says, "I think it's best that you come with me."
Very well.
Okay, and just for the sake of expediency, Tatiana and Buford make their way to room 410. Okay, so Buford would bring Tatiana in, and Gino and Colin Doyle will come in as well to get orders from their boss.
All right.
And you
Right.
brought in Jimmy into the room.
Yeah. So he's
right.
he's alive. That's the main point. Was
Yep. And while everyone else is moving around, is Alejandro and Jack tying up the other person?
Got a phone.
Okay.
Yeah, Alejandro would be.
Yep, Alejandro would be. So
Here, use this. It's stronger
uses the
than mine.
phone, Yep. It's
I mean,
why.
you could.
Yeah, those cords work really well.
And it's not working as a phone right now.
Well, they won't be getting their deposit back.
No, it's not working as a phone.
I think the blood already kind of meant that we weren't going to get the deposit back.
Yeah.
Not the body. Not
Look, the body
body's
can be
okay,
moved.
We
The
didn't
body
pay
can be
for this
moved.
room.
Like, that's okay. It's the blood that's not coming out.
Yeah, I need to do this. Because I said half an hour.
How
I
long
need
it
to
takes
put
to
a
get
timer.
that spell out.
We have done nothing wrong. We have done
Basically,
absolutely nothing wrong. We have defended ourselves. Jackson has been murdered by these miscreants. We are.
Wait,
You hear this, Tatiana? Hear Jackson's murder by his miscreants.
Jackson was murdered.
Tatiana!
Oh, you're alive.
Oh,
That's
Tatiana?
wonderful. We haven't seen
Um,
you for many years, dear.
oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
I mean, I will say quite honestly that none of us want to be here right now either, and we were mostly coming because Jackson said please help. So it's completely understandable if you see the rest of us and think, nope, I'm out.
It's not to do. You are all lovely people. There is there is a thing where I might need to go call a man about a thing.
Sidney is not going to begrudge you at all if you want to leave. She's honestly in the she's in the GTFO kind of mood, and the only reason she hasn't is because she has a witness who knows her name who wants to talk to the police. She doesn't know what to do here.
No, I think Tatiana hears that Jackson has been murdered and like drops like down by the body and just goes.
Are you at the body? Are you?
Yeah,
Jackson's
I'll take
body?
Sanity.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Now this is the reason why I did not want to show you the other one for this one. On Jackson's forehead.
Uh-huh.
Is
I'm just trying to hand
We
out.
have seen the other one,
Yeah, but Tatiana
but
hasn't
not
seen it.
everybody has.
Yeah.
yeah.
Shit! God damn it! This just keeps getting worse. I
was going to ask how your day had been before this, but I think that rather answers that.
Well, it actually, Sydney, it had been a pretty okay 5 years up until this telegram a few weeks ago. If I might say, I'm not jazzed about this. I saw this in my tea this morning.
That's a new one.
Wait, you see
Oh,
things
tea
in your
leaves.
tea?
Occasionally.
There are many people who can.
I'd
Regardless.
test the water.
It did, and it turned into this other symbol, with a swirl with a man atop.
Oh dear.
I think she's crazy.
No, Tatiana.
I'm not crazy.
I'm
No,
kidding.
sadly, was it like what we saw in Peru? On Larkin?
This
Now that you
swirl.
mention it,
Oh no.
I hadn't thought about it in a long time. I tried really hard.
I don't blame you at all.
not to think about it.
It's probably a healthier way to have handled it than how I did the last 5 years, so, But that's...
Speaking of how Sidney handles things, the Padicia are coming soon. We should gather everything we want before they come and take it.
Well, soon is a relative term.
Yeah, you're in New York. If they're here in the next hour, I will honestly be surprised, but I do agree we should not be here.
Well, no, being here is fine. We protected ourselves. We have body. We have suspect. You take some suspects away.
Emmett, you work with. So
I am our company, Prospero House, the publishing house, pays for this hotel room. We have every right to be here. We are guests of Jackson Elias's. We have documentation, and he just like, here, we're okay to be here.
and we're here to meet him. We open the door. got attacked, defended ourselves, investigated, subdued the fleeing attackers.
While we're having this discussion, Emma's gonna just open the crate.
None of us shot anyone.
No,
Though there
no,
was a
no,
gunshot.
Give me the gun. I shot in defense.
I am not worried about that, but when Policia come, they will take everything.
Yes, they will.
As we're saying this, I'm opening up the crate that Emmett's grandfather.
No.
Including the men who killed Jackson. So we need to
I
take
know.
two of them away.
Maybe-
That's what I'm asking, though. Are we giving all 3 to the police? Or are we giving 1 to the police? Because I am
No.
getting conflicting stories between 2 people.
No, we do not give them all.
Why not?
We keep at least 1 or 2.
What?
Transporting them away here while the police has already been called is
That's
worse.
what we do now.
I mean, I do have a car literally down the fire escape. That's why I'm asking. I need to know because regardless of what happens, my people are going to need to leave here before the police arrive in order to avoid complications. Mostly because one of them really does not want to talk to her father.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to talk to their father?
I mean, those of us who can, those of us who could, wouldn't, but I'm fortunate in that regard. Anyway.
Gino at this point speaks up, says, I think it'd be best for you to take this guy. He looks weak and scrawny, easy to break.
Okay, you go, Gino. You go.
Sydney is not making this decision. She is basically sitting back here going,
Why are we taking people away from, like, shouldn't we just let the law do this?
Because the Policia won't tell us what they find.
But it's not about, but these people were attacked. We should be making sure they get the law thrown, like the book thrown at them.
do you
They
want the
will
book
have
thrown at
justice.
them or do you want them brought to justice?
It's the same thing.
No.
No, typically not.
No.
I'm opening the crate. What's inside the crate?
Yeah, no.
All this debate is going on.
Crate?
Emmett may have spawned this, but he's looking inside the crate right now.
Yeah, he's looking inside the crate. Okay, roll me a spot hidden, please.
Yes, sir. Oh, I'm gonna spend the 8.
All right. All right, so I have made it that way, so we are going to go. Okay. At this point, we'll just, for sake of expediency, Gino has dragged Column down to the car that Claudia is at, and what's where's your other one? What's Buford up to? Is Buford going as well? You getting rid of all your hirelings?
Yeah, basically, who's actually been in the room? Because if Gino's been the one staying in the room, then Sydney's going to have Gino stay in the room so that she can have the legitimate reason why she's here, besides seeing Jackson, is that...
Okay, so Gino... Okay, we'll leave Gino in the room. Buford and Column... Buford and are gone. Okay, so I'll just put them in there.
Yeah.
So, yes, in that. So you have Column as that. All right, so inside the chest will be... first off, we'll do that one. So you find a business card for the Penhue Foundation.
Okay.
A handbill. And let's give you the... And we'll give you the letter. Okay, there's the first few items that you'll find in there. If anyone else wants to roll me a spot hidden, please, and we'll figure out where we go from there.
Sydney will take a look around because she's looking for...
Did I get
Sydney-
what I thought I get?
I don't know. I don't see what you got.
A 100.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that was 100. I got the 100. Yeah,
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
what you got. Alejandro, you're just
Poking myself in the eye for no apparent reason.
apparently you go down to try to look in one of the drawers. You hit your head and you get knocked out for a few seconds. All right, so I got one, 2 successes, and because I need to, I will get Nosy to have a look around as well.
Mhm. Is Jackson's pipe anywhere nearby? Is probably one of the things Sidney would go looking for.
Let's see what Aveline rolls.
Mhm.
Spot hidden for the nosy nurse. Yeah, with those successes, you find the pipe. 3 successes. All right, so we'll go in order. Tatiana, you near the bed. I would assume that you would find a. Okay, so that one. A match. You'll find a matchbook and a blurry photograph. Sidney, you find a business card for Emerson Imports
Oh,
and a letter from the Harvard University. And just trying to make sure, because those are all good successes and you made it in there before they could get rid of everything else. And yep, that's everything you find in the room.
right. Well then.
I start stuffing papers into the
Yeah.
envelope, and I say, "Does anyone want to take this while I talk to the police?"
Sydney will
They
basically
don't need to find this on my person.
Yeah, Sydney basically goes into her jacket and she's putting some stuff and she'll say, "We can put it in 408 is the room that Gino is staying in. We can hide some things in there. I think we'll have a trunk or something with a false bottom. The police won't probably bother searching. Gino, do you mind taking care of that? I need some air." And Sydney's gonna walk outside, probably actually towards the fire escape, and just stand out on the fire escape for a few moments.
Oh, Gino, was it? Oh, you might as well take these as well.
No. She's basically assuming give all the evidence we don't want the police to know we took. Gino, I'm going to assume, has a hiding space in his room because that's kind of standard procedure.
Alejandro opens up the duffel bag. All right. Guns, please.
I give the guns, but I was like, should I just hold on to the one that was used to shoot?
Sure. But other weapons you don't want policia to find on you.
Oh, this one's registered.
Weapons.
Uh,
And she's
Sydney
specifically looking at Jack. Weapons.
Shotgun, pistols, knife.
Sydney will give some of them
Gloves.
over. One of them would probably be registered, but she is currently not with any of you.
And
Tatiana
Yep.
gives you. Oh, sorry. Tatiana definitely huffs and puffs a little bit about it, but drops her revolver into your duffel bag. She tried so hard to get that revolver.
and Jack's ones are nice pearl inlay, really immaculate. Spend some money on. It's don't throw them away, please.
Emmett gives the gun that Sidney gave him to Alejandro, and then he takes the spent bullet from the 45 that Buford shot off and puts it in his arm and switches the ammo. So the spent shell is in the gun that's registered to Emmett.
Buford was not firing a 45.
He wasn't firing a 45?
No, he was firing a 32. Sydney
the
uses
32.
45s because she normally expects to be going up against things that aren't human.
I thought you would give the same gun to...
I didn't know what guns they were using!
Okay.
I didn't know who these people were as a player until last week.
That doesn't work then.
Okay. Well, in the meantime,
In the meantime, Jack's going down to reception to tell. And I'm telling you that I'm going down to reception to tell him that there's been an incident. We've called the police. Yeah, we're waiting up. Yeah.
okay. Well,
You tell them what room to go to?
Yep. To direct the police to, but yeah, that's.
Yep.
And I tell everybody that's what he's doing. So if you're going to do something, do it quickly in case the hotel staff want to lock down the area.
Okay. We'll go with Sydney. Are you just out there by yourself? No one else is joining you?
I'm going to assume so. Like, Sydney's been out there basically since... Yeah, like, she's not doing too far from it, but she's just standing there basically since everything's calmed down. Like, now that we're not in a life or death situation.
Okay. As you standing on the fire escape, you think to yourself and go, I am so glad that we caught everybody before they get down here, because this fire escape is rickety as hell.
Oh yeah, that's in the back of her
slippery,
mind.
It's narrow, it's covered with ice. If you had to chase these people down there, you would assume that maybe if more than 2-3 people got on this thing, it would fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
Hotel Chelsea, for being a great little place to stay, is not the best with fire escape safety.
Nope.
So, yeah.
It's also a fairly cheap and rundown location. That's what makes it somewhat popular for starving artists.
Yeah. And you could see in the... Actually, how long ago my timer? Still a bit of time. You can see in the foreground, just you can hear and smell the sounds of New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look up in the stars, you see a spiral.
Of course.
Roll me sanity check.
Can I just, like, auto-fail it? Because she just does not care at this point.
You did.
There you go.
Yeah. Like...
You lose 1 cent.
Yeah. No, Sydney is out there and just going, 5 years. 5 years of research, of planning, of scheming. This is my home. This city was supposed to be safe. And it took a night for everything to fail. And she's just gonna slam her hand down onto the railing, like she really does not care if this thing comes down right now.
Okay.
What was the point?
Roll me a brawl.
Then luck.
He's gonna fail luck.
I was going to say if you succeeded on that roll, it was going to be a damage roll and then a luck check to see if it falls.
Yep. I mean, you can give me a bonus die. It's an inanimate object if you really want to see what happens, but...
Why not? Give me a bonus die.
Nope.
Yeah. You bang into it. It shudders a little bit. Doesn't move too much. And you hear a distant dog barking in the background as the sound of clang. And then the dogs start chaining together like your big midnight howl coming on. And you hear this voice like, shut up! Some people are trying to sleep! Okay. And Sydney, do you reach into your pocket?
Probably. Because she knows that she's basically contemplating what does she do with the 2 unregistered guns in her coat if we're talking with the police.
Okay. Reaching into the pocket, you see same smooth white stone with a spiral on it.
For a bringer of knowledge, you certainly didn't tell me that this was going to happen. What's the point? Seems I'm stuck with you anyway. So Sidney will come back inside. Is Alejandro still collecting weapons?
Mm-hmm.
I have two for you, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Okay.
If you have to throw us away, I really don't care, but it's just annoying to keep having to replace.
Throw them away? Who said
I
anything
am
about
not-
throwing them away?
No, I am not throwing them away.
Okay. Look,
I was assuming we probably will not throw away, but I wanted to make sure that if Alejandro had to choose between throwing them away or going to jail, he was okay to throw mine away.
No. I am going to go down to valet and have them put it in my car.
That is a good call. Right.
All right. Is anyone else doing anything in the room?
Yeah, I think
As-
Tatiana, not necessarily with the room, but she sees Emmett, who's the only person here left who's not clearly like hired help or someone who she already knows, and she goes, I don't know a polite way to ask this. Who are you?
Emmett Barnes. Excuse my disheveledness. He kind of straightens his clothes and sticks out his hand as if to shake.
Tatiana accepts and shakes your hand very daintily.
I bow a little bit, like very subtly. Friends of the group.
You could say that. We met back in Peru. It was not under the most pleasant of circumstances, I would say.
Yes, Jackson. Well, whenever he would talk about Peru, he would ramble a bit, get a little incoherent, and I was excited to meet some friends who knew really what went on.
I don't know if you'd believe us if we actually told you what really went on.
Were you close with Jackson?
Well, he's been a bit of a mentor of mine.
How did he find me?
Find you? What do you mean?
I came here. I changed my name. And I still got this telegram about Peru. I don't know how he knew to send it to me. How did he find me?
I don't
You
know.
know him.
I know him, but you haven't kept in touch with him, have you?
No.
The last year or two has been tough for Jackson. He doesn't talk very much except for about the Carlyles. I don't know why Prospero House still even humors him, but my paychecks are getting cashed.
Well, that's good for you, I suppose. Or
You might want to
I
talk
guess
to.
it was. I said, or I guess it was. I'm sorry for
you
your
might-
loss.
We might want to talk to. We might want to talk to Jonah Kensington. He's the editor-owner at Prospero House. He might know more about Jackson's contacts. Obviously, he's been keeping me in the dark about some things. He was paranoid, but I didn't think he'd end up dead with that scrawled on his face.
He wasn't paranoid. Paranoia is when you fear something that is not there. He was scared because he was right.
What could scare Jackson? Or actually, no, I have a pretty good feeling, but why would he still... Oh, Jackson, what did you get up to? Well, Oh, actually, while we're here, Alejandro, it looks like an old friend is back. And Sidney will hold up the white rock. Sidney is not hiding shit.
All right, Alejandro, roll me a stand check, please.
She's also okay telling Jack this time because...
Jack's not there.
Oh, I know. When Jack gets back, she'll tell him.
Yeah.
More par for the course BS.
Yep.
Is what that is.
Yep. And Sidney's just like, so, on the bright side, we might get more information in future, since apparently this thing indicates a knowledge, but...
Mm-hmm. But Sidney, over the last 5 years, have you continued dabbling and playing with this crap?
Not directly, but I have been researching
That
because
is
I
a
figured...
yes.
That is a yes.
Not really, but yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to know what was coming after me because when you piss off two big players, you generally assume that even if they don't knock on your door, their grunts will come and knock on your door and proceed to beat the tar out of you. So I wanted to make sure that when something came knocking on my door, I at least knew to recognize it and hopefully get away.
You'll know, he'll pull a charm out of his pocket. There is no reason for me to even give you one of these. You've got enough shit luck of your own. Puts it back in his pocket.
I mean, if you really feel like adding on to it, you can. I'd recommend using it on somebody that is more out to get you, but you do as you will.
Very well.
Okay.
Well, first things first, let me go to Valet and get rid of all of these toys.
Mhm.
And then
Have we decided what to do with the gun that was used to actually shoot? Or we're just taking it with us?
let the policia have it.
Because we could just say it just came from downstairs or something like that. We heard the gunshot.
We can say it was theirs. And we took it from them.
It is unregistered. If you fired Sidney's gun, it's unregistered.
It was his and we got it from him.
Mm.
Problem
One of
solved.
them, yeah. And one of them got away, right?
No.
We do not know how many there were originally.
Okay.
We just know this one.
Okay.
We just know
We
this one. That
subdued
is
the-
the easy bit.
We subdued all that we could. All that we could.
No, we subdued this one, not all that we could, because that implies there was more to start with.
There was.
We don't know how
We have
many there
two.
were. We just
We have
found
two.
this one.
We have two.
No, two of them were taken into the car and driven away, weren't they? Or was only
thought
one?
you'd taken
Just one?
one.
Okay,
There
then
was
two,
only
yes.
one.
Yeah, we took home.
My
the
apologies.
one
I
that
thought
could-
it was
yeah.
two were taken away, so
Yeah.
yeah, just know. Then the two here. We
Yeah,
subdued
that's
these
what I
two.
was like. Yeah, we
So you
we
have
subdued the-
Irugi there
I had the number.
and
Eon had the numbers wrong. Apologies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Irugi
I've never-
is there, still conscious, just watching you. And Jimmy is knocked out. Do any of you want to just knock out Irugi?
No.
I think
Uh,
let us question him, ask questions before a policia.
Mhm. Sidney is making sure Jimmy's tied up. He should be tied up, but
He is. I'll mark him as tied up, though.
I will run these downstairs and be right back. Is there anything else anyone does not want on them before policia arrive?
nothing that I think you can take.
I have never
You can
seen
try.
innocent people struggle with their story so much.
I do not understand the problem. We walk in, there are bad guys, we fight with bad guys. This is what we have. The end.
Actually, one thing Sidney would probably do is she'll pull, because of it, she's just realizing that she probably has a little bit of alcohol on her, because she had been planning the cookies and whiskey for Jackson, so she'll give the whiskey over. I don't
Didn't
think
we
it would
hide
be a
the alcohol
problem,
next
but I mean, you could if you'd rather, but this was, I have a feeling this is going to be consumed tonight, because this was for Jackson. For some reason, I don't think he's going to be enjoying it tonight.
Hmm. Very well.
Thank you.
Nothing else? Going once, going twice. All right. I
Okay.
will be back. Let me run this down to my car.
All right. So as Alejandro walks downstairs, you pass Sergeant Jack Hunt as two cops walk into the room, into the lobby. The one it's like you would say like a younger detective, just pretty much new, flanked by two just general beat cops. We've had reports of a firing in the hotel. Jack?
So, yeah, I've been waiting upstairs quick. Well, not quick, but yeah, upstairs.
Okay, and you bring them up
Yeah.
to the hotel room. Okay. They don't say anything. They just follow you as you lead them to the room. All right. So while we're doing that, is anyone else in the room?
Emmett's like kneeling by the bed.
Okay.
Sidney would be close enough to this guy that he doesn't want to run away, but she already knows if she starts talking to him, she's going to do things she regrets. So she's semi-standing guard and otherwise withdrawn and not talking to anyone.
I think Tatiana's sitting against a wall trying to be a non-presence at the moment.
Okay. So the cops walk in. Jack, did you give them a quick warning about what they're about to see, or you want to see what they do?
I gave him a quick warning of like there's a dead body or a friend of ours which we walked in on, and
Okay. So as the detective and beat cops walk in,
and show him the telegram of why I'm here.
Yep. Okay. So that's a good move because then you're not going to be assumed as Yep. So everyone's in there. Aveline is drawn I would say Aveline would have, out of respect, drawn the sheet over Jackson as the junior detective grabs the sheet, pulls it back. One of the big cops runs over to the window and vomits, because why not?
Oh,
I mean, it's not a very nice sight.
Yeah.
Be careful, it's very slippery and not very stable out there.
The detective just raised an eyebrow at you. Now, I'm going to do this. To recognize Sidney, what would someone have to roll, would you reckon? Because have you kept really much in the shadows?
Sidney as herself has, like, you might have heard whispers, so it'd be maybe education, but she mostly keeps herself out of the limelight. Like, she tries to recruit people who have been hurt and keep them safe so that they're loyal, but that's kind of like...
All right, so I'll say there'll be a law roll, because
yeah,
the junior detective will be looking around at everybody, figuring out, well, this is a murder scene. Who?
Just to be...
Yeah, Sidney has like the telegram too.
That's what credit ratings for.
Yep.
Yeah, but junior detectives don't have credit ratings checks.
Okay.
Yeah, law or education is how I do it.
Yeah. Yeah, doesn't recognize you.
Yep.
It doesn't recognize anybody there. You just, with all the paperwork and stuff. Actually, I'll give him a penalty dice for that, because you gave him enough information to be, to have a legitimate reason.
Yeah, no, and Sidney has like the telegram and other things, so.
Yeah.
Emmett just begrudgingly, without making eye contact, is just, here's all the paperwork. Call Kensington at Prospero House. Everything will check out.
Yep.
Tell him Jackson's dead.
And
There.
so Tatiana, who's given Emmett the there treat.
Yeah, just a little pat on the shoulder.
Yeah. All right. If with the two people, they got suspects. The junior detective says, "Oh, I thought we already had that guy." And as they shove the rest of you out.
That guy? But there's been more of these?
Yes, there has. The detective says, "Yeah, we've got. I thought we already had the guy. Hilton Adams. He's currently on death row waiting execution before murders along these lines."
I'm going to hazard a guess that you have the wrong person.
Or they're all acting together as a gang?
Or cult. Let me see.
They could be connected, yes.
They got strange, like, gang uniforms with those ties on their head.
Yeah, we have Hilton Adams on death row at the moment. There was a series of murders in Harlem about a couple of months ago. Like 1 or 2 every week. 1 or 2 every month on the full moon.
Oh no, I live in that neighborhood.
Would
Yeah.
Sydney have heard about that just based on the fact that
Yeah.
like
I that's
Yeah,
my
you
place of
would have.
residence.
I am just trying to find the handout, which I'll find out during our break. And, well, shall we have our break now then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
might be a good
So, for safe expediency, the cops take you out of the room, give you a quick pat down to see if you got anything. Do you give them the handgun that you got, Emmett? 'Cause
Yeah,
you had the
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
give-
This we found this on the scene. Yeah.
And you would, on the back of Jimmy would be a knife. Well, more of actually, there was always the pangas. They already had the knives there, so yeah. Unless anyone picked up a panga.
No.
Okay, so you wouldn't have picked up any pangas. Cool.
That's what they attacked us with.
Yes.
At the
Sydney
door.
is leaving. The cops are involved. Sydney is touching nothing. There is no evidence. She's trying to make sure there's no evidence of her on the crime scene.
Mm-hmm. Emmett figured, hey, it's already disheveled. It's not going to make any difference if I look through a couple things.
And steal all the evidence.
There we go.
You weren't there. You
sure.
don't know what happened. It's fine. We comply, Jack. We're friendly with the police. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have the necessary paperwork.
Anyway, let the cops handle this. We'll try to figure out what happened. Well,
This
it's
is what
pretty
cops is.
obvious what happened, but you can sort of sense a defeated look in the junior detective's face. It's like they think they've got somebody, but
Now I've got 2 more
im-
people.
yeah, true. Okay, and with that, we end the scene at Chelsea, and we'll come back the next day, unless anyone else wants to do anything during the night. I.e., read the documentation that you got, or you're going to go into room 4
We,
right
we can
now.
come back from the break with the reading of the documentation.
All right, we'll do that then.
In a... Yes?
Emmett
Oh,
does
same.
hand the police officer a $10 bill and his business card as they could say goodbye. Thank you, sir.
Is this a bribery or a credit check?
Oh,
And
this is
what's-
just like,
what's-
I'm gonna give you $10 because like it's within my spending limit.
I'm going to say, you tipping for good service?
Yes.
For half an hour.
Because I will also point out, like, $10 is
It's a lot.
You just did the equivalent of randomly handing him a $100 bill with your business card. That screams that you're trying to bribe him.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
If anything more about the murders, please telegram me.
He raises an eyebrow, looks at you, takes the business card, but gives the money back. Not all of us are corrupt.
Sir, I say nothing about corrupt. You know, contacting me, spending time to talk to me, obviously going to take a bit of your time. We'd love to work with you,
Well,
but I respect your integrity.
you'll need to speak to Captain Robson. Oh, no, not Captain Robson. That's the wrong captain. You don't want to speak to Robson. No, Robson's bad.
Commissioner Gordon.
Lieutenant Martin Pools, who you probably want to speak to if you want to know more about what's going on. He's the one who's
Lieutenant Martin
handling these.
Pools.
Yeah, he's the one who's handling the murders. Although Robson is trying to get this one, but anyway, that's more politics, and that's something you don't want to get into.
Oh, sorry for my impropriety, but please, I do have a tab downstairs. Please, anything if you want to grab a meal at the concierge before, please.
He looks at the body and goes, looks.
I
back
love
to his-
how, like, I think Alejandro's just like, what the heck?
Yeah. He looks at the body, looks at the two cops, and says, "We might take a drink after this. This is going to take all night." Anyway, see you soon. Hopefully.
And where are we going to meet up tomorrow? I've got a room at the Waldorf. If that helps, we can meet up at the Waldorf and just talk about this tomorrow. Like once the cops have not in the issue.
Once you're out of earshot, you in the hallway, probably near room 408.
Doesn't your
just to
friend
talk about
Sidney
this?
have a room two doors down?
Let us
Do you
go
want
somewhere.
to meet two doors down from the murder scene?
Let's just go somewhere else. No.
I
Could
think
I
there's
just-
less blood in the Waldorf right now.
Could we just stop by, grab the documents? Because I left some documentation over there. Because Gino took some to the 408, so I'm just
Gino.
If
Stay
you-
in CNC. You arrange to meet up tomorrow at the Waldorf.
Yeah. Did we leave our contact information with the police so they could give us updates?
That's what I did.
Tatiana did
Emmett
not.
left details with the junior detective, so we'll
Yeah,
look at that.
Sydney does have a legitimate business that they can contact her with, but she's also like, I did not want the police involved, so...
Mhm.
Yeah.
I gave my Prospero House,
Cool.
personal contact and Prospero House. So
All right.
Meanwhile, so Jack puts on his top hat and heads back out.
Do you have a car here, Jack, or did you take a taxi?
No, I've got a carriage.
Compliments
Compliments
it's very cold.
of the hotel.
Hope the horse is all right in this cold. Right. Tatiana, do you have a place to... Do you have somewhere safe to go to?
Yes. And she kind of like smiles to herself a little bit.
Okay.
If you have a phone, Sydney would offer you a card, basically. Call this if you need something.
Thank you. I will. I will see you tomorrow. I
Around
need
noon?
to, yeah, noon works. There are some things I need to sort out before I jump headfirst into
All this?
again. Yes.
Hey, at least there's no vampires.
That is a plus.
We don't know that for sure yet, sadly.
vampires?
Although I will say with Prohibition, it's going to be hard to make Molotovs.
Harder, but we do
It's
have
been-
options.
I think there's a
I'm-
few people who can get you alcohol.
But that would be wrong.
And with that being wrong, we shall end it there, and we should go for a break. Now it's a 10-minute break, and be very, very careful when we come back because you would have heard a little bit of it at the intro, but it's a very intense sound when we come back. So if that has you any problems, just mute it for about a minute, and then we'll come back, and everything should be fine. Until then, we should be back in about 10 minutes time. Thank you for tuning in.
See you soon.
Bye.
And we're back. Thanks for sticking around. We are still
Hello.
here.
They're still saying
Welcome back.
so far.
Oh, speak for yourself.
I'm working on it.
I was
I'm
not
working
sane
on
to
it.
begin with.
I'm working on it. All right. So before everyone meets up in either Jack's or Alejandro's room, what is everyone else doing? Okay, we'll start with Molly. What are you doing?
I'm going home to my little apartment and to my lovely partner.
And at this time, would let me just open up my notes because I wrote notes. Yes, the keeper needs to take notes. Is Renee actually awake at the moment?
About what time is it?
I would say about 11 p.m. Trying to get
She's
home.
definitely awake. Definitely awake and definitely writing. So yeah, I think by the time I come in, she can probably immediately see that I'm frazzled and haggard and a little bit just harried from the weather outside, from what I've been through in the past however many hours. And she's also known that I haven't really been sleeping for the past few weeks, but I haven't really explained to her why. So I look at her and I go, my love, Renee, it is
At the sound of her actual name, her eyes just widen like glaciers. You're so used to calling her Isabella.
We have been found. Not by your family, but by my past, by the people who I met in... I think it is time I told you what happened in Peru. And I sit down across from her and I hold her hands in mine and I say, well, I don't know that I can tell you what happened in Peru, actually, but know that I saw things beyond my comprehension. Monsters. Cults. Things people write stories about to scare children, and I saw them with my own eyes, and I came back, and I ran from it. I ran from it, and I ran to you, and I thought I had gotten away, but it has found me here. And I think I have realized that whatever it is that is out there, it is not the kind of thing that you can run from. It is only the kind of thing you can run to and hope you survive.
You're telling the truth. So let's be persuade roll, please, to see if they believe you.
Oof. Can I...
How would you push the roll if you want to try to push it? Did you keep any documentation from the exhibition? Like, did you keep something separate?
I think what I would do is I would try to I think Tatiana probably wouldn't have kept any documentation, but I think she kept a journal of her dreams and nightmares, and like in them she maybe scribbled like some of the symbols she saw. And she goes, you know how I used to read tea leaves?
Yeah.
I've started seeing these symbols. I saw this symbol today.
You promised me you'd stop doing that. You know how it makes me feel.
No. But you don't understand. Renee, you don't understand what I saw in Peru. And I don't Look, you don't need to believe what I saw, but you need to believe that I have spent a lot of time running from it. And I need you to believe me when I tell you that I would not run towards it if I thought there was another option. But I think it will get us here, whether we stay still or not.
Okay. All right. Did you pass her the notebook?
Yeah.
Okay. Has she ever seen this notebook before? Or is this
Yeah.
something you've always kept separate?
I've definitely kept this secret.
Okay. For her. Now, did you write this in English or Russian?
English. Her native language is, I think, actually.
Her
was
native
English.
language is English, but if you don't want people to read it, would you have written in Russian?
I don't think Tatiana would have thought anybody would have read it.
Okay, then if that's the case, then persuade with advantage.
All right.
Because you've given them documentation. And you
That's worse.
with advantage, so give me a bonus roll, please.
Okay. No, it's the same roll. It's still at 54.
She takes the book, starts to read it, and gets to the first time you talk about fat vampires and heads in ovens, closes it, and puts it back. Says, "I didn't know you're writing your own storybook. You should talk to a person about getting this published. But if you believe it, I believe it. And if there's somewhere I need to go to be safe, just tell me where. I've waited for you before. And after Peru, you came back to me. So I'll wait again."
Thank you, my love. Go to the theater. It is safe there. Spend as much time there as you can. I know you already spend a lot. But
If I spend any more time, they'll charge me rent.
honestly, I think that might not be a bad decision. It couldn't be worse than living here. Frankly, our landlord is terrible.
Yes, I don't think hot and cold running water means it runs down the walls.
No, I inquired about that. He told me that it runs down the walls as like extra free water.
He told me it was filtered.
Yeah.
Asbestos, I think, was the term he used.
Yeah. I think it was asbestos spring water. Was the name of the spring. Yeah, anyway, he's terrible.
I think it was asbestos. He had
Yes.
weird hyphens in it. He was bottling it for some reason. Said he'll make a
Yes.
killing from selling water to people who couldn't afford it.
He said he would literally make a killing. He had this weird look in his eye.
Yes, well, when you're ready to talk and about this, and I understand something happened in Peru, but it's going to take me a while to process.
I understand. And
After a Millie, if I need to get out for a while, I'm sure Millie can have a room available made for me.
Millie would be good. We trust Millie. We like Millie. Stay safe. If I don't come back, know that, well, you already know. And I give her a kiss. And try to gently drag her away from her writing for the evening. So we can go to bed and awake the next morning.
Yep. And you go to sleep. You wake the next morning. You see a note on her side of the bed. Going to theatre. Back later. You're used to her doing this. She's not really a morning person, but when she needs to be, she is. And you notice that a suitcase is missing, some clothes, some of her manatees are gone, and a photo of you and her together has been taken as well.
Aw.
Okay. Anyone else got anything they want to do that night or in the morning?
Go to the police station. How do I get a firearms register?
We could have this with conversation with Emmett.
Yeah.
You can go to the courthouse in the morning.
Well,
It has to have a lawfully purchased firearm in the United States with a serial number that can be traced back to the manufacturer. And you can start the process down at the courts.
well, that's what I'll probably have to end up doing afterwards then.
The only location that doesn't give you information about firearms is New York City. Every other place, they tell you how to do firearms, not New York City.
So, yeah, if you wanted to do that, you'd be able to basically, because you can get for imported weapons, it basically, the rough thing is Jack walks in, says he wants to register, he's licensed to use these in these other countries, and just declares them if he wants to. But, like, generally speaking, if he has the permit from his own country, the U.S. has the more lax gun laws compared to most other countries.
So if you're already registered in the country, you can probably just show them.
Like, he probably would have had that registered when he crossed the border.
Arrived. Yeah, through customs, yeah.
Definitely
so if you're bringing the guns into the U.S.
Just a few.
And working on export deals.
Yeah, so that would already be taken care of.
You would already have the character, the qualifications of character says you have good character to own a weapon, and so in the morning, whoever reads the newspaper will see this article in the newspaper along with the photo of Jackson's forehead with the signal in it. I'll read this out for you. Author murdered by brutal killers. Body found in Hotel Chelsea. Possible connections to Harlem murders by Rebecca Shoestring. Manhattan, New York, January 15th. Author Jackson Elias has been found murdered in his Chelsea hotel room. The killers are reported to have used long knives to butcher their victim. Lieutenant Martin Poole of the murder squad stated he is exploring possible connections between this murder and similar slayings in Harlem last year. Local resident Hilton Adams was convicted of the Harlem murders in October last year and is awaiting execution in Sing Sing. Lieutenant Poole offered no option whether this new murder indicates that Adams had accomplices or is innocent of the earlier crimes. Also, Sidney would have got a report from their goons about the questioning of the person they have. All he gave us was a name of a location of Juju House, and Makdunga is going to have my tongue for his head strap. And then nothing.
Right. Well, Badunga's not a new name. I was threatened with him earlier. But we should probably quiet inquiries. Don't do anything too blatant until we know. But if we, gentle feelers in the speakeasies, see if anyone has heard. If the name comes up, I'd like to know more about it, but don't send people out here, especially since we've already seen these people's propensity for violence. I'd like to keep this as safe as I can.
Can maybe do you one better.
Sorry, would Tatiana know about this one for? I think Sidney has. I don't know if we've met up yet.
We haven't met up yet. This is
okay.
Oh no, this is Sidney. This is Sidney at home, waking up with a terrible hangover and going, like, in the idea of she's figuring out what's been told to her, and then the part 2 she's be going in is just like, right, unless you have other safe houses that you 3 would like to be in, I would prefer if you'd stay in my home for the time being, at the very least safety in numbers, and I have better weapons.
Are you sending
But
them
that's
out to do? Are you sending them out to do random check-in as well?
More just like, probably not random checking, more like calling the speakeasies and mentioning to them like, hey, just keep an ear out for this name the boss but don't go pushing anything. If you hear, call us and let us know.
Okay.
But otherwise, she wants them more at the location and safe. She's already lost one friend. She doesn't want to lose more. She is also... Oh, she would have one thing, because she has Lois, like, as her occult expert.
Yep.
So she would have mentioned to Lois and like, don't go alone, but you might need to stop into the library, and we need some more information about Hypnos if you can look anything up. And she would show the stone.
Oh, them again. Okay.
At least it's more neutral than the last one.
Fun. Well, off to the library I go.
Take possibly Gino with you. Make sure you have somebody at least that knows how to either punch or shoot. We don't know what kind of trouble there's been.
Okay.
Or somebody else, if you have somebody else in mind, just please don't go alone. And things are getting bad, Lois. Be careful.
Light nod and walks away.
Probably the only quiet thing Lois has done in her life.
Do I need to read this character up now so I can know?
More just Lois is being respectful. Like, I'm not gonna say she has very little tact. Is the main thing. Lois does not do well with people. She's good at science. She's good at occult. She has a heck of a throwing arm. That's pretty much the only thing she does. She doesn't people.
Okay.
She and Jack would probably actually get along very well, because she would also just bluntly state things that people would think are crazy.
Okay. Emmett, we'll do you next.
Mm-hmm.
You would have got. Where do you normally stay when you're in New York City?
I have a
Harlem,
flat.
aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a flat in Morningside Heights, right off of Columbia's campus. He's been a bit of a lecturer part-time. He's basically been at Columbia since he was 18, guys. Let's just be real about that. Taking whatever classes that his parents might be able to afford him. But he wakes up in the morning having become obsessed with the image of Jackson's body. The scar tissue on his forehead really stuck with him. Could he at all maybe see if in his past research and interest it might be familiar?
Roll me in a cult roll, please. Yeah, that's a success. It takes you a few moments, but do you spend your morning doing your research on this?
It probably makes it last night.
Or would it be more of a, I know what this is first?
It's a bit of a combination, because after he went away with the group, he would have racked his brain, done his research, drank heavily into the night, and then he probably would have passed out. And then in the morning, woken up with a terrible headache and just been like, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah. Well,
So
you wake up in the morning. You wake up in the morning. You spent the night looking through your library, your occult books that you would have picked up. You wake up in the morning and you see the same symbol in the book in front of you. It refers to a cult in Kenya called the Cult of the Bloody Tongue. How it originally, surprisingly enough, this is it would have been a book that Jackson would have asked you to research for his book.
Okay, so
It gives you some outlines, information about potential members, that they're from working class backgrounds, with most of the recruitment for the cult, mainly between dock workers, sailors, and the people who think they're downtrodden and hard done by. Normal activity for a cult to get the people who are downtrodden and point them in a direction of someone who they can attack and blame for their own missed lives. So, and that's all you would get with that.
Okay. I realizing that this is based on my work and wanting to
You
check
would
in.
actually also recognize that they were new initiates with that red cotton rag.
Oh,
So
with the same thing.
Yeah, with their thing around their heads.
Okay.
In the book, it would have described that it would have, in certain areas, they wrap a piece of cloth around their forehead to sort of mimic what the bloody tongue would look like.
Mm.
And the more intricate the design work on the strap, the more higher up in status, up to the point of actually using actual tongues for the higher
And it's
status.
in this book.
Yes.
As I'm getting ready for the day, I pack the book with me. And on my way to meet up with the rest of the group, like I'm bleary eyed. Like I found something. I stopped by the Prospero house to check in and let them know about, Jackson's death, everything. I also ask if there's any.
Do you actually talk to the people, or you just talk to the secretary? And actually, we'll say you just talk to the secretary and the other two members of Prospero, Kensington,
is out.
And they're both out at the moment trying to deal with. Actually, Kensington's probably down at the police station, the morgue, doing the confirmation of body.
Okay.
And the other one, who I cannot remember her name, is out trying to take care of Jackson's effects.
Okay. But we know Kensington, the editor, is at the morgue. And the only thing I asked the secretary is like, did Jackson get any other communication from Harvard? There's this letter from Miriam Atwright.
You have the letter with you?
I show her.
Yeah. Nothing from Harvard, no.
Okay.
He was doing research on his current latest book, and he was sending notes about. He had information that he wanted to verify. He wasn't in the best of headspaces to do his own research as you would know, he would send you on most of these. He would send you and raise his eyebrow at the thought of the dilettante with no library usage doing research.
I'm very well educated. I have multiple degrees from Columbia University. I'm very well credentialed. Can I actually read? Not really. But yeah, that's
you pay others to read.
People read to me. And after that, I basically carry the book and the information that I found out about Kensington to wherever we meet up at the Waldorf, whether it is Jack's room or Alejandro's room.
Okay, anyone else got anything they want to do? Phoenix?
Phoenix would have, or Alejandro, not me, would have spent the previous night on the yacht of his friend George, getting him up to speed as to everything that's happened, including Jackson's death and things of that nature, just so that George has an idea of what's going on. That would have been his night. Otherwise, he probably would have just hid out very quietly for the evening.
Okay. All right. So you all meet at the Waldorf, and you would see both Phoenix and Alejandro and Jack downstairs. What is Alejandro and Jack talking about as everyone else gets in the room?
So you're staying here too?
Yes, I am staying here as well.
Is your company paying for everything as well?
In a manner of speaking, my company pays me.
What do you mean your company pays you?
I own most of my company, and so I get the dividends of profits.
But I set up my company and they don't pay me. I get a little bit, but not.
So they are giving you a salary, is what they are doing.
Not really. I have a little bit of money left over from 5 years ago. Most of half went into half. A fair bit went into the company. The others went into other bits and pieces, like the suit and that you saw yesterday. But now it's a bit more casual. But I thought I'd dress up for everybody. But I don't really get money, so to speak, like spending cash.
You should speak to your accountant to make sure that they're using the company funds properly. If you own the company, you should be getting a portion of the profits.
But I'm here for the company business, kind of.
For shits and giggles, can I get you, Jack, to roll me an accounting check, please?
Just because you want me to roll under 5.
Yeah.
Do you want to
Gee,
spend?
do I spend all that
31
luck?
No, this is the accountant's always told you. This is how it should be operated. Do you trust him? You pay him a decent amount of funds?
Well, he pays himself a decent amount of funds. I don't know.
Yeah, you got the yeah. You would have.
I think things must be done differently in UK.
Yeah, you get like a monthly. You get a monthly contract with the Penhue Foundation. They pay you for supplying security for the Egypt digs. It's a decent amount of funds you get. It's enough for the company to keep running.
It's not a decent amount of funds. But he thinks it's enough.
Yeah. It's enough. The goal in life is to have enough to live comfortably. Okay, and so...
We're probably having breakfast while we're having this conversation.
Yeah. And as the morning rolls on, everyone else turns up into the hotel.
Wonderful. You've already got breakfast ordered. I sit down and I start eating.
That's my leftovers, but I can order you a plate. It's just...
Could you? I'm starving.
Yes, of course. I'll order something for Sidney as well.
And as the food's getting here, look at what I found last night. And I open up this big old tome and I point at the pictures of the things. I think these Cult of the Bloody Tongue. Don't these look familiar?
Isn't it a bit early for cults?
Aveline says, no cults before 12 p.m. Before midday, dear. It's like alcohol.
I thought we met at noon. It's midday.
you and you Americans.
Well, I'm glad somebody had a productive evening.
I'll be honest, it was a little abrupt to bring out the cults first thing. Kind of went in guns blazing.
To be honest,
I don't know you that well.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm still on UK time.
Well, I think this is what...
I mean, I did see the symbol in my tea, so I am personally invested in what you have to show.
I'm pointing my finger exactly at the symbol. That is in your tea.
Yes, that's the one that was in my tea, and then it became another symbol. It was a whole.
Are you drinking another cup of tea, Molly?
I am. I will have some breakfast tea. I will cast augury again.
Yes, why not?
Because magic in Call of Cthulhu is not smart.
Great.
Since would I have regained the magic points since it was a few weeks ago?
Yes, you would
Yeah.
have magic points regained at 1 point per hour,
Okay, cool.
if I remember correctly.
Yes, sir, you did.
Yes, I know. I remember stuff in Call of Cthulhu. Hooray!
All right, then I will just roll a d4.
Didn't
For
I set it up
sanity,
so if
though?
you click on that spell, it should automatically roll everything?
Oh, does it? It's on the character sheet.
Hopefully I did it right.
So some people don't have spells, so I can't help.
Yeah.
Not sounding bitter or anything.
Let's see, because
Yes, so that's your power, and it costs. Yeah, sweet.
cool.
So yeah, when you look down, hey, I'm glad about that actually. And that it was you've already cast it before, so that doesn't count as first spell casting. But well, first spell casting should be a hard success to actually do it. Then after every one of those, it should be a regular success. But this is something you've grown up with, so you did this when you were young. So again, you look down at the T, and in the T is exactly the same symbol of the bloody tongue.
Is this a magic trick from Russia or?
Something like that. It is an omen or a way to get a portent of the future. So I don't think we are done dealing with this.
And again, as you look at it, it doesn't turn into the spiral of the hypno symbol. It would look more like a. If you didn't know better, it looked like a screaming, like 4 or 5 screaming faces.
Oh no.
With that power check, yeah.
Well, that is inauspicious. And I kind of like gesture at the tea leaves. They might not. I don't know if they look like anything to anyone else.
This is a common occurrence?
Not the screaming faces. Can you see the screaming faces? Is that just me? Do you see screaming faces? It's like a Rorschach test. Do you see a
I
butterfly?
see?
The nurse looks over and says, "It looks like a demented clown."
I do get those vibes, yes, but trust me on this. It is 4 to 5 screaming faces. So I think that there are people in danger. And I
Yes,
think
that would
I
be
think
us.
If it was us, it'd be 6, because there'd be 6 of you. Actually, I need to check something else, but no, 4 or 5. Actually, I'm going to whisper you something, Mol.
Alright. Exciting. No, you have to understand. I don't think it is us, but I think someone is going to get hurt, and I think the cult is going to act again if we don't do something.
Wait, wasn't there like, I like you say screaming, like is like someone like that and their face is all weird. I remember something about a painting.
Not
Like
like
that.
the wood painting. Not like the wood painting. Is that what?
Are you sure?
Not like the scream.
Yeah. I don't remember who made the scream.
Mm-hmm.
Edvard Munich. Or Munch,
thank
sorry.
you. Munch, yeah.
Yeah. Google.
Yeah.
So,
I was thinking of American Gothic.
I had to check dates, that's all.
Same.
So you sure like they're like that and their face is all a bit skewed and weird and like
Molly,
Oh,
check her
well.
Discord message.
Oh, Discord message.
Yes.
so
Oh no! I think Tatiana abruptly stands up, as she stares like more intently into the tea leaves, trying to gain more information from them, and then she just stands
Is
up
everything
very
all right?
abruptly. No, nothing is all right. Nothing is all right. We have to go to the
No.
theater.
We have to go to the theater. Do we have tickets?
Lafayette Theater. I was going to suggest we went there anyway.
Let's
the
go.
woman,
You can explain on the way.
Okay.
Taxi or carriage?
Breakfast.
Sydney will say, I've got a car outside. If you're saying it's important, dear, then let's get going. We're too slow with Jackson. Let's not be slow again.
Let me go get my bag.
That is a good call.
Emmett eats his breakfast as quickly as possible.
You can probably take it to go, dear. You're not the one driving.
That's great. Seconds.
Jack, do
don't
you want
think
to
we
get in the car with me, or do you want to wait with Alejandro? Because we're not all going to fit in the same vehicle.
We were happy.
Wait.
Why did he call? Why did he send the telegram? We were happy.
Roll me a sanity check, please.
That's a pass.
She is hanging on by a thread.
Literally. You lose 3.
All right. She has lost so much this trip because of the spells.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fine. There's. I don't understand.
Now, for your information, Augury gives you a possible future.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think Renee, or I don't think Tatiana is thinking logically as soon as she notices that detail. I think she gets. I think she would spiral. But she would have wanted to go to the theater anyway to talk to Hilton's wife.
Okay.
So off to the theater.
Okay. If anyone else has anything else you want to do, or you just making a beeline to the theater.
If Tatiana's giving like the panicked response and going, "We need to go to the theater now," Sydney is basically like starting her car, and anybody who wants to get in with her, she's gonna assume we need 2 vehicles just in general, since there's 6 people and there's not really a lot of 6-person cars.
Emmett's gonna get in as soon as people want to start moving because his friend just died. He's like, "Let's do this."
Yeah, Tatiana jumps in.
Yeah.
I might
Is
have
Jack
to wait
coming?
till Phoenix gets.
All right.
Duffel bag.
Yeah, duffel bag.
Yeah, no, basically, yeah, Sydney... Oh, speaking of which, I'm assuming that, like, Alejandro still has most of everybody's weapons, right?
That's where he's going.
Yeah. So, when Sydney's in the car, because she does have an armory, basically, back home, she has her registered gun, and she looks back to Tatiana. Do you have a weapon, dear? Do you need something?
No, Alejandro has
All right.
mine.
In case you've only got the 1 clip, and she'll hand you probably would just be a small revolver, or a 22 pistol that would just be in like the in the glove compartment of the car. It's not much, but at least it'll give you something.
No, thank you. I feel
Just in case we're there and there's trouble before.
Mm-hmm.
Is this have to do with the ring on your finger?
Is it that obvious?
More, I want to know the situation beforehand. It does not have to be. And Jackson didn't tell us anything. I've been in contact with him for 5 years. He didn't tell me anything. Emmett, his protege, he didn't tell him anything.
Mm-hmm.
If we can know what's going on to do our best to help, that's... You say as much as you're comfortable, dear. And, like, Sidney is driving, like, for the theater. By the way, which theater are we going to? You gave me some rough idea, but,
Lafayette.
Right.
There's a woman there, Hilton Adams' wife. I think I already said that. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm a little skeptic. My my partner, she,
Huh?
I sent her there this morning. Or she left there. She works there, and I told her to stay there. I thought it would be safe, and I don't. I saw her face in the tea leaves. One of the screaming faces. It looked like it could be her, and I don't know if it will come to pass, but I can't.
Absolutely. We'll do our best. And if she needs a different safe place for after this, and you do not have to, my home, for lack of a better term, is a safe house for people in trouble. So, if you do need afterwards, there are people with guns who we normally are cycling through who's there most of the time. Another face will not surprise any of them.
Before
As you rush through the streets, everyone's in the cars. You eventually make your way to the theater. It's all closed, but with the sound of a insistent banging from Tatiana, the door opens up and you see Renee.
I just engulf my arms around her. Really quick.
I've only been gone for what, 3-4 hours? You usually get like this after 2 weeks.
You know how hard it is for me to not see you, my love. I thought I don't know why I thought. Is Miss Adams in?
No, she's down at the courthouse. You know how her husband's in jail at the moment. They're still trying to find more evidence, and she holds up the paper from this morning and says, this actually might be more evidence to actually help exonerate him. So they're both down there trying to make a case with the judge.
You're the wife of who?
Hilton Adams. Hilton Adams, Millie Adams's husband. Hilton Adams is currently in jail for
That was the. I'm in character. That was the. That was the murderer that the police.
The suspected murderer, who I have a feeling was at the usual hand of police competence, the most readily available person for them to throw behind bars, and who probably literally had nothing to do with it.
He's a good man, I promise. I've met him. And his wife is very kind. But
Ma'am. Do you mind if I'm sorry to ask, but did your husband ever mention anything?
No, Millie's not there.
Oh, Millie's not there?
Millie's not part of this.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Millie's not there. The only person there at the moment is Renee. Sorry, Natasha.
Okay.
What?
No,
You
Isabella.
got my sheet. Isabella, sorry.
Okay, gotcha.
So
I
many
made it more
characters.
complicated. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
No, that's all right. So Isabella is at the door, says, well, as much as I'd like to keep talking with you, I do have the rest of the play to finish writing for this afternoon. It's new play week, so I need to finish writing it and teaching it to our actors so they can do it by the weekend, so we can get more money, so we can get out of the current place we're living in.
What's wrong with the current place you're living in?
It's a dump.
You just said Where are you living?
Do you know?
We literally inherited a small fortune after this, and you're living in... Tatiana, you did not have to contact for anything else, dear, but I'm literally in the city. You could have... I know you didn't want necessarily anything to do with me, but I'd have helped you at least get out.
You had to lay low, but you have to acquire wealth at a certain believable rate when you're living under... You wouldn't understand. You can't just spend a lot of money because people question where you got all of the money, and then you have to say,
Yes.
well, I inherited it from a person in Peru, and then that doesn't make a lot of sense to many people, and then they know that you're Tatiana Petrovna, and then they come and they find you and they kill you and your wife. So
That makes perfect sense, dear. For future, you're a dancer. The French do rich patrons all the time.
What did you say? I thought you were Natasha.
There's a
Can I roll a psychology? Can I read
I'm
what's going
just going to
on?
say for the person who's in the door, we should probably let your wife get back to work, dear, and then have this conversation in the car away from a few other prying eyes. It was lovely to meet you, dear. Sidney is going to hand a card and say, when you have time, please call, because no, your living arrangements are not acceptable, and regardless of anything else, I will not stand for that where I can help. Anyway, lovely to meet you. Your wife is very lovely, and I'm glad to see that you two are happy. Anyway, back to the car.
What's your name again?
I did not expect that to go where it went, but I love it.
Sidney, like, Eon was horrified when you mentioned the living conditions. Sidney is literally sitting here going, I'm a freaking mob boss who rescues prostitutes and puts them into legitimate businesses. Why is my friend living in poverty?
So, I mean, there's a good reason why she would not have contacted a mob boss.
Which is completely fair. Sidney's also going just on the side thing of like, you did not have to have association with me. Here's a lump sum.
Emmett's new to this entire dynamic. Can he please like roll psychology to figure out if he can read?
Good luck.
Go for
I
it.
don't know if you can roll high enough to make this make sense.
Of course, at this time, Alejandro and Jack come pulling up in a Rolls Royce.
Who is this?
Alejandro.
No, Sidney's car is not that fancy because she does not want to stand out.
In this neighborhood, that stands out like a sore thumb. I love it.
I think you can read everything probably going on with Tatiana right now. That was the woman at the door was her wife. She definitely just said her name was not Natasha, and was instead Tatiana Petrovna. She mentioned having an assumed identity. She's panicking. She's not doing great.
At this point, based on the conversation, do I get that Sidney's a mob boss?
You would not know necessarily, but that was not part of this conversation either.
Okay.
You will probably find that out in roughly
You would
an
understand
hour.
that Sidney
Okay.
can solve problems.
Because like Emmett doesn't understand what's going on. Like assume identities, mob bosses. Okay.
Look, we should explain
Dead bodies.
to our cohorts that it was a false alarm and that I'm very sorry and that we should go maybe to the courthouse to talk.
Well, I think beforehand, we can go to the courthouse. That's, generally speaking, not going to be a quick situation. Is there a coffee shop or somewhere nearby, or a diner that you know that we can just sit down,
of course,
have a moment to talk? Keeper, a quick question, just in all honesty for us. Is this at all anywhere close to where Sidney would have one of her speakeasies?
In Harlem?
Yeah. Because she reaches out to pretty much
everywhere. Would you be
everywhere.
muscling in on other people's speakeasy territories?
She would have initially, but she tried to do things a lot more from like whoever was vulnerable and make peaceful relationships. She only muscles in when you cross her.
I would say that you wouldn't have one of yours, but you can find a nice quiet cafe that you can settle in.
That's why I was just checking.
Emmett's in the neighborhood, so he knows all the places to eat.
So Emmett would know where. Emmett would know where would be a nice quiet one, which at this time of day wouldn't get that much traffic.
Yeah.
And you can assume that if you get there, you can have a nice conversation with everybody, and no one will be listening in.
Yeah. I would say that if Alejandro, you have all of our belongings from the other night?
Yes, they're all in my trunk.
All right. I would recommend then that we do it out of sight, but that we make sure that we're at least, not for the courthouse, but at least more equipped.
I can throw it in the other bag and just put it in your car.
If you do have a second bag, or I probably have one in the back of my trunk, that would help. But more, I'm thinking that mine are small. Jack's are going to be a little bit more difficult to pull out of a trunk without somebody calling the police.
Well, Jack is riding with me, so it is not a problem.
That is fair.
And
Right.
I'm assuming that I've already had the time in the car to then put everything where
Yeah.
it needs to be.
Okay, that's fair. That's what I just didn't know for if you would have done that before going. But yeah, then Sidney would probably just grab weapons and be like, all right, I think we should go to a cafe and talk for a few minutes and get everyone up to speed. Apologies for
Is everything
just
okay?
the quick... We think so, but that's what we're trying to figure out. Nobody is currently in danger from what we can tell.
Can
Do they
I?
need to be in danger?
Preferably not. They're usually people's spouses, so we don't like to do that.
Can Emmett maybe have found one that has a within eye shot of the theater, so you can still sit by a window and keep an eye on
Yeah.
it?
Yep, this is the area's entertainment district, so there'll be restaurants, cafes where people would go and see dinner and a theater play.
Mhm.
Let's just say what. Let's get a name of one. You find let's just say the Big Mabel Bar in Harlem.
I imagine Tatiana's probably been there a few times as well, just having been to Lafayette.
Oh,
for
you
a
should
while.
have the pastrami.
One thing Sidney
It's
would
half,
actually...
It's half a pool bar and half a not drinks, more like cafe.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
you
Like a
see
deli.
yeah, it's like a deli.
Yep. Sidney would ask one thing from Tatiana just to kind of check, and it's more because he goes, so this is just something for me to check, dear, but is this going to be a situation where you would like me to present or hide alcohol for your personal preference?
Look, I'm not. I think in this situation I could use a drink, but I'm not going to go.
I more mean
I don't drink like I used to.
that is fair. I'm more checking because there are people who choose to stop, and I wanted to know if you did not want me to leave the temptation available. I want to make sure that we're accommodating you here. And at least you'll actually tell me what you want. Jack, I tried offering Jack a drink last time, and he just acted confused. I don't know what I did wrong with that. I was trying to be nice.
You mentioned a safe house. It seems like you're involved in the underbelly in some way now. Is that a fair assumption?
More than a little, yes. Beforehand, when you knew me in Peru, I was an archaeologist. Others would, you could call me a thief by profession just from that alone, and you'd be completely correct. Unless you are doing everything properly, an archaeologist is nothing more than a thief with a degree. But I did not limit my five-finger discounts to the dead. After what happened in Peru, I got scared. I got very, very scared. And I knew that it probably wasn't over. We kicked a hornet's nest. Actually, no, we didn't kick a hornet's nest. We walked into the biggest thug on the street's house, peed in it, left our names on the side of the door to let them know who did it, and then left. So I figured that since we had managed to properly make sure that everyone was very angry at us, I wanted a safe place. And that's what New York was supposed to be. I made a group. I've been studying everything I can. I've got a decent network here. And it didn't do anything. Jackson is still dead, but he didn't come to the safe house, and I know that my home has not been attacked.
I'm sipping my Irish coffee, confused.
You a thief?
Can you? What happened in Peru?
I can give you a very
Short or
short
long?
version.
We don't have to do this in character. You just explain.
Yeah, basically,
finally tell
like-
the truth to Emmett.
Yeah. Sidney would basically just look at you bluntly and say, So if I told you that in Peru there were vampires that it consumed fat instead of blood, and were beings normally who made a deal with an eldritch entity for eternal life in exchange for that, how crazy would you think I am?
What's the roll to see how crazy I think you guys are right now?
Sanity.
I would. No,
Psychology?
not
So that'd be
sanity,
more like psychology or occult to know if that matches up with anything that you know.
Yeah,
Psychology
come
to see
on.
Crazy.
We are passing on what actually happened.
But I didn't experience any of it. This is secondhand. It's not firsthand.
Sydney has the golden mirror as well, just to like, if she really needs
I mean,
a
if you
good
wanted to do that, then it would be a first.
Do you have the mirror with you?
If you want to do that, you can.
I don't think it leaves her pockets. In all honesty, like she does not trust it being taken away by someone.
So how about this? First roll to figure out how much I believe, and if I don't believe, we can play with the mirror.
Fair enough. We'll take that.
Okay, what do you want me to roll, Keeper?
Psychology or occult?
All right, I'm gonna go with psychology and success.
Not
With-
bad.
Well, how many more do you need to roll for a hard?
I need
that would
8.
be 8, yeah.
All right. You can spend the luck to go for hard success, but with the information that Jackson told you about Peru, and you always understood that he left parts out, but you always thought he left parts out because it makes a good story.
Mhm.
But having those parts filled in, it makes sense.
Vampires, really?
Well, they're not. They're how we
Like
would
the-
understand vampires. No, do you know what a lamprey is?
Yes, the weird fish creatures.
Yes, the best way to understand is that these beings were called Kalasiri. Alejandro can probably tell you in more detail the actual things associated with it, but normally they were white people who literally sucked the fat out of the locals, and they had a lamprey mouth, not the other things. They were indistinguishable from human until they did that.
And let me guess, the cult that Jackson's writing about worshipped these, would you say?
No, we don't know enough about the cult he's currently dealing with. I thought the matter was resolved. In Peru, they were worshipping some form of bound god. He was called the Father of Maggots. And we repaired the seal and fought with many of these creatures. We managed to survive,
And get
and
lots of money.
we got quite a bit of money from these find because these creatures were very much like magpies. They collected shiny things. Humans tend to find shiny things are worth a lot of money, and we were able to. Well, Alejandro handled more of that part, but I was lucky enough to be part of the archaeological find of the century, basically, in Peru. It was quite exciting. A very happy time, following a very frightening and unfortunate time.
Emmett would usually be a more skeptical human being, but after witnessing the state of his friend's body last night, he's just quietly taking this in and just keeps on drinking his spiked coffee.
So, Jack, I will apologize. Aveline and Alejandro already know about this, but I was a little bit worried for my life at the time and didn't want to give you an excuse to shoot me.
Who needs an excuse?
Well, normally it's illegal, so I figured that you needed like the self-defense argument. And Sidney will hold up the rock. So now Aveline gets to know that it's there too. This was the symbol that was on Mr. Larkin's chest. He was the one who employed us to find the temple.
The one you killed in broad daylight.
Yes, well, you'd like to focus on that fact.
In a setting quite similar to where we are right now.
Point of order, I am the one who killed him.
You shot first. True.
I shot the walking corpse that proceeded to grab me and bleed from its eyes. But regardless,
But yes, that is, I believe it's Hypnos.
Yes, I believe that's what you had said.
If anyone wants to roll me a cult roll when it comes to that name, go for it.
Oh, I'm gonna
Someone's
use.
got a
Oh, it's
cult.
got a hard success. Never mind.
I mean, I'll try. I'm not going to succeed, but I'll try.
Emmett has switched from drinking Irish
Wait.
coffee to just whiskey now.
No, I wish I had more luck.
We both got a 9. We both got a 9 versus 5.
You can spend that luck.
No, I have 7 luck. That
You can
is
spend
literally
that luck.
over half my luck to make that a success.
You have made an
And it will
impression
not
on
improve
Emmett.
the skill.
Whatever Emmett knows, he will share immediately.
No,
Just
I know.
FYI.
That's what I mean. It's not worth it to do that. I'm more going, it's so close, it's tempting.
Yes, but please don't spend the majority of the rest of your luck on this one.
Yeah.
No, spend the majority of your luck, please.
But Keeper, to kind of maybe explain this occult, is this small black and white spherical rock the same rock that I saw the apparition of my grandfather holding?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, there we go. That's the connection.
And when you realize that, roll me a sanity check, please.
FAL.
Yes.
All right.
Someone's getting shot in the cafe again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how much do I lose?
I'm just rolling a d6 now.
Uh-huh.
Nope, not getting
You're
shot in
having
the
a bad day. With
So,
that,
Jackson.
yeah, with that, it's like you lose 4 sand. What was it? If you fail, roll me a knowledge or education check, please.
Okay. Knowledge.
Is this to prevent going temporarily insane, or is this something
Oh
different?
no, something different.
Okay. And so is it knowledge? Wait, is it education or intelligence?
Education.
Education, this one.
Okay.
I think this is the one you want to fail.
Yeah, no, that's completely different.
Okay.
You
Do I wanna
remember
spend-
it? No, in this one, you just remember about with the occult and the education. You understand that hypnosis isn't bad necessarily. It's the best way to describe it is Lord of Dreams, and becomes confident that they can become the king of all reality. So it might not be a sign of something else, but that something else is watching over you and seeing what you can do.
Mm-hmm. I explained this, but I'm in half disbelief myself. But
Have you? So you've seen this mark before, then?
right when I saw Jackson's body, yes. My grandfather was holding on to it. That's what drew me to the crate.
Please forgive me for this being insensitive. Is your grandfather passed, or is he still with us?
What do you mean? He's alive.
I mean, okay, good. It is not it would not. Given what I've experienced, I've had apparitions of loved ones who were dead, and that's why I wanted to check if that was what you had seen or not.
I haven't checked in with the family in a while, in a few days.
I would generally assume that he probably is still living. That was more, it's who's close to you. And I wanted to make sure I was not being tactless in talking about a past relative for you when it's somebody dear to your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Does that reassure? It would not begrudge to still call and talk with them, but that's generally what you do with those you're friendly with? So I'm told.
It.
Well, you get in contact in some way. It does not have to be a phone call.
Like, all of the personality that you've gotten to know Emmett in the last day is drained from him. And he's pretty just like bleach white. Just shakily drinking his whiskey.
Tatiana once more taps your shoulder and goes, there.
So,
So you got a pretty
Tatiana,
rock.
though,
What is it?
roughly speaking, something like what we sealed gave me information. And it, while we were in Peru, you remember the glowing knife I made?
Yes.
The one that cut really well?
Yes.
The night that I made that, I saw Larkin in a dream. And he gave me a rock saying that I bound him, and therefore he wanted to bind me as well. I sealed the rock in the pyramid as part of our whole scenario, alongside with a crystal ball Mendoza gave me. And I thought that was the end of it. And then going into this, I had the rock appear again for the first time in 5 years.
Yeah, Emmett saw it. He gave it to you. Wait, did you bump your head back in Peru? We had a truck accident. I remember that. Who fell through the window?
That was me that got knocked out.
Oh, that's right. Sounds like that you got your head bumped back in Peru, though.
Perhaps. I would prefer this was something crazy.
Yeah. During this conversation, Aveline's looking through the documentation from the hotel room. Says, well, we need to at least figure out what... I can't do an English accent. I'm horrible.
No, you can't.
We need to figure out all this information because we're in something maybe over our heads.
Again.
Yeah.
Well, that is... Tatiana, you said that you were potentially wanting to go to the courthouse. What is it that you... Are you in danger from people, magical, or both? You're muted, just so you know.
Oh.
No. There we
Oh,
go.
now we can hear you.
I can hear.
Okay.
I don't know what it was. Your lips moved. Dead air.
Well, now I suppose it's both. Before we were running from the mob in Boston. But now I saw in the tea leaves the cult turning into the four to five screaming faces. I can't imagine that it's not just the past coming back to haunt me. I want to go to the courthouse because I know Millie Adams, the wife of the man who is accused. And if he is innocent, she would have a vested reason to have all of the damning evidence against anybody else. Or at least to have known who's looking for it. I'm also interested in this Rebecca Schusenberg. I know of her a little bit. I'm not as close, but she's the one who's been reporting on...
Is Millie, I'm assuming, is lost or is still fighting the legal battle. Does she have a lawyer that you know of?
Not, I don't know that she personally does. I'll be honest, I don't really understand the American legal system.
Neither do the lawyers, but that's never stopped them. I'm sorry, Phoenix. I'm so sorry. That was not meant to be directed at you.
Oh, considering
I'm also a law student.
Yeah.
Look, that's kind of like saying I was in engineering, and it's like, I don't really understand how engineers do things still.
No.
But before we go rescue another woman, can you tell me why we ran to the theater?
Because I thought Millie might be there anyway, because that's how I know her. She stops by sometimes, but because I saw my wife's face in the teacup in the street, in amongst the people screaming, and
All right.
So I think something might happen to her, and if something does, if something does.
Very well.
Understandable.
So
I
we
Go ahead.
have a couple of things. You wish to help your friend and her husband get out of their spot of trouble. We still have Jackson and this cult and all of the things he was looking into.
Well, yes. So that's why I think we should go to Millie, because he is the same cult. The murderers that they thought were being pinned, that were pinned on Hilton. The murders that were pinned on Hilton, Jackson was killed in the same way. So I think the cult is responsible, but Millie might have information about that.
And I saw your people taking the one of the assailants away. Sidney, right?
Yes, that'd be me. We got very little information. Whenever we came in, I was threatened about one Madunga Madari, and he would apparently be wearing our tongues for... I believe it was the headband. So, from what you mentioned about the cult, that's a practice of theirs, so it sounds like he's there. I do have a location for us to go to later.
Does that mean
the
we're back
Juju
to
house.
wearing masks again?
I don't think so, no.
Because that was horrible back in Peru, wearing masks.
I don't think it's going to be a mask situation, no. But we will know sooner rather than later. Though, Jack, I do have to ask something, and not as meant to be horrible. Would you say the last 5 years have been stable and happy for you?
I don't know about stable, but it's been interesting. It's been up and down
Right.
like everything.
Alright. Because I do have one way of gaining information, but it's hard on the mind. So I might ask your help with it later, since a stable individual is normally better at getting useful information out of it. And no one will ever argue I'm a stable individual, so I've not used it very much.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now. Just no
You've already
idea.
said I'm a crazy woman. You've already said I'm a crazy woman. I have a magical
Not
artifact
to your
that crazy
face, have
people
I?
should not touch. Yes, you have.
Sorry. Always behind your back.
That's not any better, dear, but I do appreciate at least you would attempt to spare my feelings.
Next time I'll just do it behind your back then.
Well, in Jack's defense, were you being crazy?
I was sitting at a bar and drinking at that point, so I don't think so. I mean, yes, in general I'm crazy, but he was complaining about Miss Baker at the time.
Oh no, I was complaining about the other girls. Not you.
And then when I offered to buy
it
you
was about me. Oh, you were calling me crazy. I can see that. That's fair. That's a fair hit.
It was
To be fair,
mostly
Jack,
nursing.
when I offered to buy you a drink, I
So
asked you, what do you
stop
like to drink, and then you got confused. Like, I really didn't know what to do at that point.
Either way, that's in our past.
Yes,
Right.
it is.
So go ahead, Emmett.
Did you mention Juju House? Like the location?
I had not had the chance yet, Sidney was about to.
No.
Yeah, because Emmett's asking like specifically, hey, your people, what information did you find out?
The name Midori and a location for us to look at a little bit later, called the Juju House.
Does the place sound familiar to a resident of Harlem? Since it's on the map of Harlem.
Well, talk amongst yourselves while I work that out.
Yeah.
I do have one thing I wanted to check, like, because we got some of the handouts, right?
Yeah, you got. Yeah, so if you want to start going through those handouts while I try to figure out if you would.
There's like the university we can go to. I want to see. Can we please see the Cult of Darkness? And we need to find out when it's on. It says for tonight only, but which night? I really, really want to see that. Be nice to actually hear another
It's
Australian
in-
accent.
It's
Yeah, absolutely. That could be something. That'd be something good to look at.
It's at the university.
it's at one of the
Which
universities. NYU. It's at NYU.
Yeah.
Well, it should be.
So we have a card from the Pinheel Foundation.
That would actually pique
Jack.
Jack's interest because you've done work for the Penhue Foundation before.
Possibly.
We have a letter from
No,
the Carlisle.
sorry. Just earlier today, Jack would have. You had mentioned that Jack's company works regularly with the Penhue Foundation.
Yes.
And they would be a big name in the whatever the society is part of is.
Yeah, you would work a lot with this foundation, so that name.
That name
would
definitely rings a bell.
Yes.
Do you share that with the rest of the group?
No.
Didn't think
Fair
so.
We have the letter from two of the Carlisles about some artifact in Egypt, it sounded like. Then we have a card for a member of the Carlisles from London. Or no, that was Pinheel. Sorry.
Yeah, Penhill's in London, Jack
The
puts in.
Shanghai matchbook and picture of a junk ship. And then we have the letter from Harvard about books.
And I think that would be good to follow up on. We can at least call Miriam Atright and see what he was looking into, what it was he wanted.
I also have something that is of some interest, which is Emerson Imports. I have some dealings with them, but more a rival of mine from my archaeology days. Uses them quite a bit. They specialize in importing artifacts, and I don't know if the name means anything. There's a name, Silas Nakwane, but that's written on the card. But I do know that if you're saying, did you mention the cult was, or like the symbol you found, Bloody Tongue, was from Kenya or Africa or something like that?
Yes.
That was
I have the book.
Eguy.
And
Yeah, no. I just remember Eguy like shared word vomited like all this information. So I'm trying to keep up with like what did
Eric
you tell
shared it, then
Eguy?
yes.
What did Eguy tell us?
Yes. First thing to meet after murder. Here's this book. Here's all this information. Please listen to me.
I mean, yes, we're listening to you, but it was also just me trying to make sure that I'm not repeating what the keeper said that Sidney doesn't.
Oh yeah, no. That was a joke.
But Aja Singh, he is an African dealer, exporter of artifacts to the US. He uses Emerson Imports to bring his artifacts in. And so if there's something linking back to Kenya, I'm not going to say that Aja's involved, much as I would like it to be, because that would be somewhat satisfying to have another reason to hate him, but at the very least, Emerson Imports would probably be a place we could find information about, where we can find information about the artifacts or other things potentially about this cult.
Talk to Lieutenant Poole. I think our issue right now is perhaps not a lack of leads. I think it is narrowing down the leads we want to pursue and in what order. So we should I think we need to prioritize what we think is going to be.
Cult of Darkness, it's one night only.
Well, Jack, if you wanted to go to the university, you can ask them about what night it is and if you can arrange to attend a lecture.
Well, yeah.
All right. I don't think any of us should go alone, so how do we want to And we only have 2 cars at the moment, though we can call a taxi and things too.
I would like to question Mrs. Adams and Lieutenant Poole if at all possible.
If you've got a book which actually says that this is a cult, they wear that thing, this is what they do, they might be able to help in that case.
That would potentially help for both, yes.
I would like to come along for that since I know her, and also because I would like to talk to the lieutenant as well.
Alejandro, is there a lead that you were looking to chase down? Because I think I would like to go talk to Miss Adams, and if nothing else, I know some good lawyers, having needed them over the last several years. So, look, expanding a business is difficult, and I don't get the paperwork. I know a good accountant, too.
When it comes to Emerson imports, I could probably help track down information.
That would be very good, but...
Of course, the Carlisle letter, unfortunately, since that he is from Egypt, I do not believe we will get much information.
No, I think... Was there...
The same with the Shanghai stuff. I do not see us learning more about Shanghai right now.
Does somebody want to follow up on the Harvard lead? I think that's the closest we have to motive. If he was looking into something and he was killed for it, then whatever he was looking into at Harvard might be a lead that we want to follow up on sooner rather than later.
I did stop by the office. They don't have any additional communication from Harvard. We would have to contact them or potentially even visit.
Well, I would say that we can do a phone call after we go to the courthouse. I have a phone in my home, and I mean, the courthouse might even have a phone we could use, but I don't know if they would let us talk for that long on it. But I do think, at the very least, potentially Jack, Aveline, and Alejandro, since we only have the 2 cars, would you want to head to the university first and then maybe to Emerson Imports? I know of them, but I don't know anybody there. They're not who I typically deal with.
And then maybe take in a show that night?
Yes, I think that might not be a bad plan.
That is fine. I do not like the idea of showing up at this import company just saying,
"Hi,
Nakwane."
Yeah, I don't understand that either. So I think...
I don't think you know.
Find out about the company, and I can do that have my company do that.
That would be excellent then.
I do not see the purpose of asking them who Nakwani is without us having something.
I mean, we could even just go in and say, a friend of ours was killed. This was a name that was mentioned.
Then they're less likely to talk to us. If they are smart.
They're not going to say.
Most people that I've met in New York are not. Death is sadly quite common here. Most people go, my condolences. As long as you're not the police, they tend to not mind, especially if you have money.
Let my company see what it can find.
I do think that's the better avenue first. But where should we meet after the 3 of us go to... The 3 of us are going to the courthouse. You 3, what are you going to want to do besides New York University, or are you just going to be there?
Well, we have to go to Harvard University to check up on the books there. But the New York University, you have to call to find out what night this is on or when it was on.
Harvard's in a different city, in a different state, by the way.
Harvard is
New York.
several...
No,
Right.
Harvard is in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts is a totally different state.
Oh.
It's about a 4-hour drive.
5 with traffic.
4-hour
4 to
drive?
5-hour drive.
God, why do you space your university so far away? Back in the UK,
because there's a lot of people.
they're just like down the road from each other. So much easier to get to.
Because you can't put 2 IVs too close together, or else the elitists get their egos do not fit in the same space.
Emmett nods.
Intravenous drip. What IV?
Not drips. Ivy is in the plant. Do you know ivy vines?
No, we don't get much of
IVY?
that in Australia.
No, I'm just checking if you know the word. That
And
was all
this
that
is
was.
Where Phoenix goes, I am a lawyer, and I went to an Ivy League.
Yeah.
This is where
We're
Molly
not
goes,
trying to
"I'm a-"
mock for that. It's just trying to clarify for him what he knows because he's saying IV and
Yeah.
Sidney legitimately does not know what Jack
Wait, Phoenix
knows
for
and
real?
doesn't know.
Yes.
Oh, dang. Oh. Oh.
This
Sydney
Some would
really does
say-
respect lawyers just on the basis that they have gotten her out of so much crap.
All right. So with so many leads in front of you,
Mhm.
and I've prepped for all of them apart from the courthouse.
Of course.
Let's go
I
to the
mean,
courthouse.
that is what Sydney, Tatiana, and
Emmett
were going
is-
to first. Or Emmett first.
Yup. And Emmett's going, not only is Mrs. Adams there, Lieutenant Martin Poole, but you just mentioned that Jonah Kensington, the editor, is at the morgue. So that's where we're going.
The morgue isn't normally at the courthouse, but
It's
Morgue is
in
normally
Allen's
at-
municipal district.
Yes.
He's gonna go across the street. If it's within walking distance, he's gonna duck out and try to catch his boss.
it wouldn't he be at the morgue in Chelsea where the body was?
Chelsea's a hotel.
No, but we were at the Hotel Chelsea. Chelsea is a district of New York.
Yeah, I know. But is the hotel Chelsea in Chelsea?
Yes. That's why it's called the Hotel Chelsea.
Not.
Lieutenant Poole
Where-
is in the
Where's
Chelsea.
the courthouse?
That's where I'm more going. Is just like we're told at the courthouse. Which courthouse? New York is
Okay.
effing huge.
Okay, I presume Tatiana would know. right?
Yes.
Or would,
So-
would maybe know.
New York is tiny. It's an island shore. But like Australia, that's an island much bigger.
Which is fair, but is
New
there
York
one
is-
courthouse in all of Australia?
It's tiny.
Yeah, and there are almost more people in New York than in all of Australia.
No, there's more.
Yeah. So, and there's more than one courthouse in Australia, right? I'm just going to clarify.
I'm
in the
talking in Jack
1920s,
here.
there was more than one.
No, I'm saying
See,
this is Jack
see,
saying that
I'm just-
New York is tiny.
I was assuming that there would be some kind of like Hall of Records, because like I'm looking at Hall of Records, City Hall, like those are within blocks of each other in Lower Manhattan. That's where I assume the central courts, the morgue, all the police precinct. Like I thought that's what I was assuming, just to make it easier for everybody. There's one central location for us to go to if we wanted to deal with the
Let's all go
justice
together.
system.
There's
All
no
go
I
rush.
mean, I thought you wanted to go to the university.
I just want to go somewhere.
NYU's
Let's
down
go.
there as well. NYU's on the lower east side, a little lower west side, so it's by like 24.
Okay, so give me where you want to go.
Courthouse. Do you want to go with us to the courthouse, or do you want to go to the university first? Like one group of 6, all of us going together, or
Be aware
two
that
groups of 3?
phones do exist and you can make phone calls.
Yeah, and one of the university is just checking up to see when the thing is on.
Yep.
Okay.
So you could probably call then.
And maybe if not, if we can get a meeting with the professor who's putting it on.
Okay.
If it's passed.
Alejandro will make that call unless Jack really wants to.
No, you can.
I know who Sydney would prefer to do it just because she'd like information about it afterwards.
Yeah, NYU is at position 20, and then 21 is Hall of Records, 23 is right below
All right, well,
that.
let's go through. Who's
Yeah.
calling the university?
I am.
Okay. Now, what are you calling up about? You're calling up about the letter from Miriam. The letter,
No.
or you're calling up about the handbill?
Handbill.
All right.
We're
cool.
calling NYU for the handbill first.
Okay. That's that one.
I'm also assuming we're probably having to do this from a payphone because
Yeah, you're doing it from a payphone because you're still in
Yeah.
the You think, but it's a nice safe location, so you don't need to worry. The one
I'm not
that
worried about someone finding out I'm calling to see if a presentation is still happening.
okay, so the phone picks up and says, where are we? Hello, New York University. How can I help you?
Yes, my name is Alejandro Garcia. I am traveling through New York, and I saw a handbill for a presentation by Professor Kells regarding the cult of darkness.
Ah, yes, that was a very interesting presentation he gave. Although it was a little long-winded, you know how these Australians are.
That is unfortunate that it has already happened. Would it be possible to have a meeting with the professore?
Oh, of course. I will get his timetable and I'll give you a call back when he's available. Yes.
And of course, I'd be willing to offer a donation to the university to help.
I don't know
Emmett?
why I rolled that. Sorry.
Emmett, who are you shooting
Emmett?
while we're on the phone?
I'm closing things, and I ended up clicking something to close something that was right above handgun. Sorry, my bad.
Put the gun on
In the
safety.
background, bang!
Anyway,
I'm gonna close my character sheet now.
But
Okay.
yes, if you are able to get time soon with the professore, I am staying at the Waldorf. You can reach me there.
Of course. When I get the information for a time you can meet the professor, I will definitely let them know, and we will take from there.
This sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for calling university. Have a lovely day. You can tell he's a working call service.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said money.
Yes, money.
Donation always gets university attention.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Oh yeah, it does.
Okay. Are you also going to give Harvard a call as well? We're at it. That's
No, I'm going to let Emmett do that one because he has the connection to Jackson directly. They're more likely to respond to him since he works
Okay.
for Prospero House than I do.
If we're all together, maybe I can just do the phone call now.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So many different pages open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So you make a phone call to Miriam Atwright at the Harvard University, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I dial and it's like ask. Oh, I'm looking for Miriam Atwright with the library.
Yes, dearie. How can I help you?
Oh, good morning, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt. I'm calling. I'm a colleague of Mr. Jackson Elias's at Prospero House. And-
Yes, the lovely man who wanted the book.
Oh, yes. I was wondering. Do you know if that book is available now?
No, as I inquired to Mr. Elias, it is currently disappeared from our bookstore. Yes, Africa's Dark Sex. It was the sex. SECTS, not SEX. Out of the get your mind out of the gutter, you young man.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned in your communication that there might be other volumes. Would we be able to Prosper House? Would be able to acquire, or would you be able to lend them out to our company?
Possibly. You just have to find the books first. But the thing is, this is the interesting thing. The book just vanished one day, and there was like an unspeakable odor in the collection the day we noticed the book was missing.
I'm like off the phone, I'm quietly whispering to everybody about this. There was a weird smell.
You know those students, they never wash, they never clean.
Like what kind of weird smell? Like fish? Like death? Like
Mustard?
hot day? Like
Yeah.
mustard on a hot day?
Did it smell a bit like fish or spoiled mustard?
There's a reason it's called unspeakable, dearie. I cannot speak its name.
So rotten eggs, got you.
Sorry.
I just have a very funny thing that just popped into my mind with that for afterwards, but I don't want to interrupt this moment.
Yeah. Would I be able to help find them? Is there any assistance from Prospero House?
No. The only thing that we sent to Prospero House was a definition of a cult of a bloody tongue. Ugh. Unspeakable things they do. You know, they actually cut people's tongues out and they wear it on their head, trying to imitate a god. Ugh. It's horrible. It's disgusting.
Oh, yeah, that's totally outlandish and totally not real. Yes.
Would you
the
like some
thing
blood
is-
and flesh of our? Would you like some blood and flesh of the son of our deity? You can have it every Sunday. Sorry.
And it just looks like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a demented tadpole with a tongue that looks like a whip that faces around his chest. How can I see? And over the next hour or so,
Would it be an
Miriam-
hour on a payphone? I'm pretty sure we'd run out of service.
Miriam will just keep going on and on and on till
Click.
however money that happens. It's like, oh, he was such a lovely fellow, and goes back.
Miriam
to doing books.
reminds Emmett of his grandmother, and so he's like has a hard time hanging up
Yeah.
on the woman.
Does your
Yeah.
grandmother often talk about unspeakable horrors?
Not necessarily the grandmother, but maybe the grandfather. Yes.
Oh, okay.
The granddaddy has some stuff.
And pretty much what you get from the conversation is the book that Jackson was trying to find, Africa's Dark Sex, Sects, Sex.
Mhm.
Curse this in Australian language. Is a book that they were trying to find, but the copy that the university had in their library has mysteriously vanished.
Maybe the local one has it.
NYU. We're at NYU right now. Columbia University. If you want to go all the way up
I
to.
thought we were calling NYU. I thought we were going to the courthouse.
Oh yeah, but it's just like it's the lower Manhattan. It's close. Courthouse is close to NYU. It's on.
I don't have access to the actual map. Just as a
Yeah,
heads up. I know people
only
do.
two locals have the access to the
Oh,
paper
okay.
map.
That's
Yeah.
right.
If you want to be
Makes
given
sense.
a map, you can probably go and buy one. Or I can drag you all to the map if you want.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
sorry, I
guidance
was-
to the map might be helpful.
Yeah, because I mentioned like points and stuff like that. So yeah, so what I was talking about. Oh, this is Harlem.
Oh, don't want to delete that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So what I was talking about was the inset map of South Manhattan. And I don't know where the courthouse specifically is, but it makes sense to be close to the 2 points that I've seen other games similarly, 21 and 23, which are the Hall of Records and the City Hall. And 20 is just north of there. That's NYU. So we're coming from Midtown, so we'd be going south. So I used to live in New York. Sorry.
So where are we off to?
The
Courthouse?
Leave the courthouse.
Let's go to the courthouse.
Let's go.
The one thing the keeper has not prepped.
Well, the keeper can say the courthouse is at City Hall, and then he has a prep location.
Oh, no. And
Well, the
just
courthouse
making
is
notes
closed.
about what information I've already told you. Yes,
Mhm.
because this is where it gets tricky. All right. And the story about the... All right. So you make your way through the traffic, get your way to the courthouse. And surprisingly enough, there's a couple of people outside the courthouse. Tatiana would recognize one of them as Miriam. Oh, not Miriam. As Millie Adams. And when sorry, so many different names. So what you see in front of you, Millie Adams, sorry, is come on. Let me know if you should all have seen the handout now for Millie
I'm not
Adams.
seeing.
Oh, stop. Why is it not letting me do that? All right. There we go. Now? So the... Okay, well, that's a problem there. Let me fix that later. In front of you, a very... not homely, but attractive. You can see it's part of theatre. It takes care of themselves. Millie, there we go.
I think Tatiana runs up to her.
An elegant African-American woman with fine features whose expression of quiet determination might be mistaken for standoffish for those who don't know her. And she notices Tatiana and runs up to her. Now, does she know you as Tatiana or as...
Natasha.
Natasha. Ah, Natasha! Oh, my God. Natasha! Damn voice. Have you read the paper today?
Yes. Such good news.
He's innocent.
I know. We have more to give to you and a little more to ask. You see, I actually knew the man who was killed. So I know you've been fighting this battle for a long time, Millie, and I know that you must have information. You've known all along that Hilton didn't do it because you've known you could not have. So anything you can tell us about what's
Not much else that you don't already know. It's just Hilton, he really grew concerned about when the Harlem locals were going missing. That was like 7 years ago now. And as number of disappearance increased, you know how how Hilton has a lot of friends in the area, the ex people he went to war with, and they formed a posse and just did some paroles around the area just to try to find out who was taking our locals. Yeah, they hung over down near Teddy's bar. You know Teddy's, we went there a couple of weeks ago. And they all served in the Harlem Hellfighters and they started organizing patrols. Eventually what happened was that Robson, and with that name of Robson, you will always tell it says it was as much disdain to even get have the name in the mouth is just horrible, and the evidence was planted. His knife, which he never takes out on patrols, was found, and the police just didn't want to do anything. Claiming gang violence, street robberies, anything, and then is it pronounced as an African death cult, for crying out loud, for some old crackpot with too much time in his hands. Dr. Lemming, I think it was. And either way, eventually they focus on Death Cult Link, and Manager turned up a reference in the New York Public Library about some long dead cult from East Africa. Didn't get a name out of him. He was trying to protect me. You know how Hilton is.
Excuse me, ma'am. Death cults in Africa?
Yeah. Where else would they come from?
All over the world, from my experience. But hello, I don't think we've been properly introduced. Miss Adams, my name is Sidney Tyson. I'm a friend from the past. I'm very sorry to hear about for your husband.
Well, he's not dead yet.
He's not dead yet, but he's been in jail, which he was wrongfully imprisoned, and trust me, it's not a fun experience, and I do feel for him. Captain Robson, is he the Harlem police?
That's the Harlem Hellfighters.
Let me just check
Harlem
this.
Hellfighters is something slightly different, I think. But
Yeah, Harlem
is-
Hellfighters is a name of a band of people from Harlem who was in the First War.
And Robson.
The war.
Yes, the war.
the war. There's not been a second war yet,
Great
and as far
war.
as we know, there won't be.
So Robson is the captain, and the lieutenant
Robson
is the
Is
pool.
yes,
Okay, so there's two police officers,
yes.
But I
Robson
think
and
they're
Poole.
they're different. So, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Keeper, because this and like Phoenix might know, Phoenix and Molgar might know about this, but it's like New York was almost fiefdoms with their police departments. Like, if you're in Chelsea, it's the Chelsea Police Department is in charge of what goes on in Chelsea. If you're in Harlem, it's the Harlem police are in charge of what happens there. Like,
Still
it
is.
is very, very segregated. That's why when you said before about courthouse, like, I'm like, wouldn't they, like, you know, which morgue are we going to? Because Harlem morgue would not be sharing with with the Chelsea morgue.
When it comes to the services, it's different than the police departments. There
I-
are multiple morgues, but that has more to do with the amount of bodies coming through New
Yeah.
York.
And that's just
And
what I
I-
didn't know for it. It's just like whenever
And I-
you have
and I-
competing
and I just-
fiefdoms, I'm like, what the hell? What do we do?
And when I'm playing tabletop, I was like, oh, I thought this would be simplified. You know, there's one courthouse for us to go to instead of figuring out which of the 12 precincts we need to go to. Just
Oh
for
no, this is
simplicity
going to
of
be
the
very
game.
much a precinct problem. So other thing, Keeper, would Sidney know about Captain Robson given her profession?
Do you work much in Harlem?
Possibly on more the supply things, and considering she takes people who are disenfranchised out.
If you don't have a physical location in Harlem, I would say no.
Okay. That's just what I was checking, is because she takes people who are disenfranchised out, but that's the most that she would have done. Other people live in Harlem, live and work in Harlem, and she might do business with them, but that's not her neighborhood. So,
If it's not your neighborhood, then no, you would not know about Robson.
okay.
Would I know about Robson?
If you live in Harlem, then yes, you would. You understand that he is probably the cop you don't want on the scene.
Is he at the scene right now? Do I
No.
see him?
No, you
Okay.
don't see him at the moment. But the best way to describe it is how your cop friend from last night refused it. He would accept it. The money that you handed to your cop friend last night, the $10.
So he's corrupt, and I know he's corrupt.
You wouldn't say corrupt. You would say that money makes things happen.
I whispered that to Sidney about Robson.
And sometimes the things that can happen might not be the best things to happen.
Yeah.
We need to follow. Presumably, he was bribed.
And if you have the map in front of you, you would also understand that Juju House is in the same region of Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Adams, I take it that you're still trying to fight this case. Are you in contact with a lawyer? Or...
Lawyers. Don't get me started about lawyers. You know that we raised enough money to hopefully get some help, but we tried to go to the New York Public Aid Service, and they didn't see a case. The police's case apparently was airtight. There was a knife that was found. Mr. Adams was found, my husband was found in the area with his knife, which he never took. They found his knife at the actual site, and the one he used during the war, which he never takes out on patrols because he never. And again, you hear a bit more of a tirade about the police in front of the courthouse, speaking rather loudly, trying to make their point across.
Sidney will just kind of nod and take a look around. Does it look like there's anybody in the courthouse that's hearing her tirade and moving?
Oh no, there's other
Okay.
there's other groups around.
Yeah.
You assume
Right
that
then.
at this time of year it's a more everyone who's disenfranchised will be there just trying to yell at them, trying to get their position known. Here we go. The New York Ill Aid Society judged his case wasn't worthy enough to qualify for one of their attorneys.
Lovely.
They only had enough money from there to pay for the trial and one appeal, which I've already done.
Yeah, basically look at Tatiana and goes, well, if this is involving someone who has information about our friend's murder, perhaps we can help a bit with that afterwards. Well, I have been in legal trouble myself, so I might know some people that can help, and no one deserves to be locked up like this.
Because he's not just locked up, he's also at the risk.
I know. So, do you know, this is not me, this is me wondering how urgent this is, though.
About what? About the
Execution date. Like, Sidney does not know how to tactfully ask how much time they basically have to keep fighting this.
the power of plot.
Good. Okay.
So it's still tied up, from what I understand, which is admittedly not much, it's still tied up in appeals.
At this point, because I just worked out a way I had to do it without plot points.
Yay.
Where are you? There we go. Oh, no, don't want to show that. Oh, God, no. So, up in front of you is another woman who just walks out of the courthouse and goes over to Millie and says, with everything going on at the moment, they're not going to do anything until this is cleared up with the cops. And Millie says, thank you, Rebecca. If someone trusts us. And if anyone remembers...
Rebecca Schusenberg?
Yep.
Wonderful.
And I'm just trying to find my... This is because he went to an area I wasn't really prepped for, so it's taking me a few seconds to get around it. But I'm going rather decently, I think.
Yeah.
For sure.
There you go. And you have this lady is in front of you now, Rebecca Schusenberg. Okay, let's bring up the sheet.
The reporter.
Yes. A small, dark, complex woman with wavy black hair. At first impression, she may appear humorous and over-intensive, but this is actually her professional manner. She walks up to you and says, I don't think we've had the pleasure. Rebecca Schusenberg, reporter, New York Times.
Hello, my name is Natasha Smirnov. It's wonderful to meet you.
Natasha. Oh, friends with Millie's. And
Yes.
actually, let me just check something. Junior crime reporter. She got the crime news story, so... Wait. Weren't you at Jackson Elias's scene?
Yes. That's part of the reason why I'm here.
Wait.
Jackson was a friend.
Who's currently at the courthouse? Everybody or just...
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait. You're all here?
Emmett Barnes, lecturer and writer.
Oh. Well, with all of you here, this tends to actually make me want to believe that you're trying to find the murderer of your friend. Again, voice goes up, says, which isn't Hilton Adams.
Thank you for the
By the
raid.
way, out of
Elhawk.
curiosity, what are Jack and Alejandro doing, like, during
Oh,
this?
just watching.
Ma'am, I'm sorry to ask, but you mentioned something about death cults and a Dr. Lemming? Is it at all possible? Do you know where his clinic is, where his office is?
Lemming.
So, did you want to interview us as well for the other thing, and do a story about our friend?
At the sound of Dr. Lemming, I'll get you to roll me a credit check, Eric. Okay.
Sure thing.
Never been
My
interviewed by a
credit
reporter before.
Oh, you would know him. In certain circles, he's known as the crackpot of the area. How his family was very rich, but he's the last son of this thing, and he's been using the money just to. He calls himself Dr. Lemming, but he's got no formal qualifications. But he does read a lot, and he is specialized in cataloging in the bizarre and fascinating topic of folk beliefs from across the world, and he's never actually stepped outside of New York. So he's one of those people who would explore the world from their own backyard, from their own library.
Oh. And how did your husband meet? Well, Dr. Lemming is a bit of a character.
A character. He is someone who you would want to talk to, but then have an escape plan. He would just keep talking on and on and on and on and
Oh, one of
on.
those people.
So we should go in prepared.
Going with an excuse to get out is the best way to describe it. He would bring out every book he owns if you show him in a little hint that you're interested in the occult.
Which we're not interested at all in, so I think we're safe. Right?
Would I know his
Yeah,
residence?
no. You would know his residence with that
Okay,
skill.
cool.
Okay. As everyone is talking to Rebecca and Millie, a beat cop comes down from the courthouse and surprisingly seeing everybody there says, excuse me, were you the people who found Mr. Elias's body yesterday? Would you come with me, please? And we'll wrap it up there. So you have a police person is escorting you into the courthouse.
Does Sidney want to get out of there real quick?
Just for the keeper's knowledge, I am strapped at this point.
Yeah,
Same.
Okay.
you're all strapped.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Emmett's the only gun he is registered.
Sydney technically has a registered gun on her.
Just not
The others might
all
be
the
a problem, but
Alejandro's a foreign national. It's hard to register a gun.
No, it's not. I was
Actually-
able to do it.
I would
You
say that the cop says, Lieutenant Poole would like to speak to you.
Do we know Lieutenant Poole?
He is
that's the one
yeah.
who's investigating Jackson's death directly.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
He's the one we wanted to talk to.
Yep.
He missed
Yep.
you last night at the murder scene, but he's going to get you now.
That
Woo.
doesn't sound pleasant.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a journey and a half, wasn't it?
Why? Because we went sideways and you didn't expect it? And the only place in New York you didn't prep up was the place we went to?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think I did rather well there.
Yeah, you
Yes,
did.
For sure.
Yeah.
I got massive amounts of notes. Great.
Welcome to Call of Cthulhu.
Yep. Okay.
And welcome back, Molgars, of course.
Yes, thank you. We
Thank you.
missed you so much.
I have to go back and edit up that the that to and fro about the landlord and the water and that's a weird conversation I've got to find.
Why don't you? We have to edit that out.
No, not edit out. Get to that and pull that out to have
you
its
wanna
own
do a
little
clip?
clip. Yes,
Yeah.
You gotta clip it.
yes,
That is-
highlighted out. Yes,
It was an awesome conversation you guys did for that.
weird.
And Sidney is appalled that that's the conditions you are living in.
Isn't
That
that
was
just,
that was a fun. I wasn't expecting it to be that dire, but you know.
I was
sometimes-
going to suggest it's an active fire suppression system.
that's a good one.
Oh, I wish I knew that one.
That's a really good way of selling a leaking roof.
hmm
Yep, with asbestos mixed in already. Help spread the fireproofing around.
Yes.
I really wish I
Fire
used that one
suppression.
now.
It works.
It didn't occur to me. That was.
Yeah, gonna have to use that at some point. Thank you for the raid coming in, by the way, El Hawk. Thank you, El Hawk 99 for the raid. You came in right, we were ending and kind of wrapping up, so we will be raiding someone else though. So stick around if you can. We'll be raiding someone else at the end. We'll do our outros. Eguy, we'll start with you. Oh no, we'll start with MrLiveProducer in the end.
I'm MrLiveProducer. I have been your keeper for this evening for this group of miscreants. I love it, every moment of it. Yeah, you can usually catch me at twitch.tv/MrLiveProducer, where I do VR content and other assorted stuff, like getting prepped for events and packing my equipment down and packing it back up again and doing more VR work. And it's been very busy over the last few weeks. Every week I've had a different event. And because this is it Mental Health Week this week? I can't remember.
I'm so frazzled mentally. I have no idea.
Just be aware. Just talk to people and just, even if they say they're okay, just checking them again.
Even if it's not mental health with, just do it anyway.
Just check it anyway.
Check on your
We
friends.
lose what?
Yeah.
We lose like 8 people per hour to suicide. Just talk to people.
Mhm.
With that, Eguy?
My name is Eguy. I've been playing Emmett Barnes, and I do want to let you guys know that Emmett successfully lost 20% of his sanity today in one session. So it sounds like he will not be along of this campaign. I look forward to playing my next character very soon. If you want to catch me anywhere, it'll be here. I do not stream anywhere but Goblin Cave TV on Tuesdays.
And we appreciate it. Molgars?
Hello, I am Molly or Molgars. I don't really stream anywhere other than Goblin TV, Goblin Cave TV either. But you can find me at molgars.tumblr.com if you want to see me post photoshops of my cat into famous artwork.
Okay.
It's great.
Yeah, it's
Forgot
beautiful.
about
It's great.
that. Eon?
Hi there, I'm Eon. I've been playing Sidney Tyson. And you can either find me here, Goblin Cave TV on Tuesdays, where I apparently get to cause a lot of chaos, and the Keeper somehow indulges me. Or you can find me over at twitch.tv/EonVictory, where I stream various games on Wednesday evenings.
Okay. Phoenix?
This is Alejandro Garcia. I want to speak on behalf of Phoenix. The lawyers and the Ivy Leaguers were poorly maligned this episode.
I do
would-
apologize for that, because that does fall a bit on me for insulting, so I am sorry for
No,
that.
no. I'm the one who made the Ivy League joke, and I'm allowed to dunk on Ivy Leagues.
Yes. But no, I am Phoenix. I am here or on River's Blood, Year of Darkness on Roll20. Otherwise, you won't find me online that much because, well, like I said, lawyer.
Yeah.
So, otherwise, thank y'all.
And my name is Karsh Goblin, and tomorrow we will probably be having some more D&D. It's like we had a 6 or more week break, and now we get 2 in a row, so awesome. We're going to be also raiding a channel who's also, I don't believe we've actually rated them in all this time, which is kind of strange. We talk about them every single show we ever do. Yeah, I don't believe we've ever rated them. We're actually going to be rating Syrinscape today. Syrinscape have started doing their own role-playing stuff on their channel a while back. About a year ago. Mostly it's been Cyberpunk, but today they're on their second episode of their own Call of Cthulhu show. So we're going to be rating Syrinscape after our credits roll. So please stick around for that. We do have a little blurb of a raid command if you're a member of the channel. If you're a member of the channel, the raid command is: we come here to share the love. Our hearts are warm and fresh with the Goblin heart emojis. If you're not a member of the channel, don't know about the Goblin heart emojis, but you can still put in the first part. Thank you everyone for coming in. All our shows are put up on YouTube, so our prequel campaign is up on YouTube, as well as this campaign and all of our other shows that we do for role playing. So thank you everyone for here today. Welcome back, Molgars. It's always like having you here, and it's good to have you back. So and of course, thank you MLP for being the keeper and putting up with all the prep and all the everything, as well as putting everything into Roll20 over 2020, because it took about a year to do that. So
Well, I had nothing else to do.
That doesn't mean it wasn't a lot of work.
Oh, no.
Still a lot of work. So we're going to head off, and we'll see you over at the Syrinscape channel. So let's get this working.
Okay, we love you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.